And a most gracious good evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you might be in the known universe. I'm Charles Phoenix. Welcome to my latest big retro online slideshow. This time we are taking a trip across America, a retro road trip, adventure, excursion, extravaganza. This is Vacationland, USA. Oh, yes, it is. But before we get started, some gratitude towards you, because I want to say thank you to all of you who are supporting my shows, my work. I mean, I'm doing what I was born to do. I absolutely love it. And it is my honor and privilege and pleasure to share my passion with you. So I appreciate your support, and I hope that we can do this many more times, because I mean, it is an infinite wonderland of a world celebrating classic and kitschy American life and style. Where do we begin? I know. This time we're beginning this journey, Vacationland, USA. Our journey begins right now, backing out of the driveway. Somebody is so excited they can't even wait to start taking pictures. I know. And I love this one, you guys, because I don't know about you, but a truck pulling a house, I mean, I'm thinking this gives a whole new meaning to like motorhome, doesn't it? I know. I love the sign on the side of the road there. It says Eats and Curios and Roadside Geyser. You want a roadside geyser? That's fine, be that way. If you want a roadside geyser, you guys, we're gonna start with the ultimate, the very best, the gold standard, and the granddaddy of them all. Yes, it is, way back there. This is Old Faithful, you guys. Old Faithful is named Old Faithful because it is the most reliable of all of the geysers. It erupts more frequently. I mean, I guess they don't even know how far back it goes. I mean, do they? I'm not sure. I'd like to know. But anyway, I've only been there once, and here's what happened. I got there, and as I was leaping out of the car, I noticed the Old Faithful was starting like, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just couldn't believe it. So I start running over there, but out of the corner of my eye, I see a glimmering yellow something that looked like a big Velveeta out of the corner of my eye. And I'll be darned anyway if it wasn't this, a 1937 White Motor Company bus. This slide was taken in the 1950s. I could not believe when I got there. That it was there was one still there. I know. So of course I was absolutely thrilled and immediately went inside and said, I want a ticket for this bus tour. And they said, I'm sorry, we don't have any more tickets today. And so I'm like, oh no. And then I'm standing out there crying and pouting because I couldn't get on the old bus to go on the vintage bus tour. And then all of a sudden the lady came out and said, it's my first day, and guess what? We have an extra seat. So we went on the bus tour. But before we went on the bus tour, you guys, I stood there in awe completely of the Old Faithful Inn. Yes, the Old Faithful Inn was so amazing, you guys. It was built between 1903 and 1904, and at that time, it was the world's largest, grandest log cabin structure ever built. And I mean, we could go on, there could be a whole show just about this, but if you have not been there, I cannot recommend it enough. So what I wanted to say is, though, you guys, I ended up going on the vintage bus tour, and I could not believe this lady, it was her first time, and actually what happened was, something happened. There was an incident. Yes, there was indeed. We were looking at some medium level geyser. No, she was pointing it out where it usually erupts, but it doesn't erupt that often, like once every 3 weeks or whatever. And so as we were looking at it, and she's saying, this is where it erupts if it was going to erupt. It started erupting. She's like, oh, it's erupting. And she accidentally threw the bus into reverse because she was trying to speed over so we can get a closer look at it. And anyway, she backed into a brand new Toyota and totally totaled it. So anyway, that was my experience. Of course, the 1937 white bus did not get a scratch. The geysers are everywhere, the pools and puddles and ponds. You've never seen so many. It is like a nature's wonderland on, it is a phantasmagorical experience to be there in Yellowstone. I highly recommend it. This is the Spasmodic Geyser. This is a vintage slide. And on the slide, it said, not the lady. I know. Okay, speaking of nature's wonderland, yeah. We live in a nature's wonderland. The United States is so much so many things, including a Mother Nature's wonderland of the absolute highest order. Here we are at the grandest of all the canyons. Yeah, that's why they call it Le Grand Canyon. I know. Anyway, in the middle are a group of people there, two feet away from the edge of the Grand Canyon. On the left, there's two people in the Grand Canyon. And of course, right up front there is Mrs. Bobby Socks. I do hereby declare she is as petrified as what she is sitting on. I know. I mean, I would be a little afraid to get to the edge myself. And here we are at Four Corners. This is where the only place in the United States where 4 states come together. And there's it basically tells a lot about you, the way that you enjoy the Four Corners. You can stand on the Four Corners, you can sit on the Four Corners, and you can lay down on the Four Corners. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the Four Corners: New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. I know. Have you been there? Yeah, you got to. It's unbelievable. And of course, the Petrified Forest. I mean, yet another one of the many, drive-through. I love it. It's a drive-through experience. Yeah, drive-through experience. This guy there, having a good old time. I don't know what he's pointing out. Another piece of petrified wood or something. Anyway, but you didn't want a piece of petrified wood. You wanted a rock, but you wanted a hole in the rock. Fine, be that way. Here is a hole in the rock, the hole in the rock. This has been a tourist attraction since the 1950s, ladies and gentlemen. It is on the lower east side of Utah. I have never been there, but I'd like to go there. Basically, Mr. and Mrs. Christensen started carving out the rock. It's just the weirdest story. They have a home. They started making their home 100 years ago there. And anyway, it is like 5,000 square feet, and I want to go there. Anyway, I know that inside you are going to see, I did a little research, paintings of Christ, famous art, and taxidermy, and an indescribable feat of engineering is what you're really there for. I know, it is so bizarre. Also, I saw on the website where you get to see Mrs. Christensen's doll collection. And how much do we all love a crazy doll collection in a random hole in the rock house in the middle of Utah, in the middle of nowhere? I know. Oh, you wanted a hole in the ground. Fine, be that way. The Grand Canyon Caverns. Oh, yes. You know what's so weird about the Grand Canyon Caverns, you guys? It's the only cavern in the United States. They actually have the whole cavern is a big motel room. Yeah, you can stay down there. You can stay there all night. When you go and you tour the cavern, you go down there, and there is in the middle, there's a bed. I know, a king-size bed with a comforter on it from Walmart. It is so bizarre. So I have been here twice. I love caverns and caves when I'm on a road trip, because usually it's the warm months and it's usually hot out. And of course, it's always 56 degrees in a cave. This cave was first discovered in the 1920s, and it has been a tourist attraction. It's actually many miles away from the Grand Canyon, but it has been an attraction since the year of 1962. So, and a few months ago, maybe it was a year or two ago, the elevator broke and a bunch of people got stuck down there. Speaking of stuck down there, speaking of holes in the ground, this is the Lost Sea. This is the hole in the ground that you walk down into to get to the Lost Sea. It is in Tennessee. It's about an hour north of Chattanooga. Yeah, don't you just love to say Chattanooga? Yeah, the Lost Sea, you guys, is the most bizarre cave in the United States, because it is the cave that has the second largest underground body of water in the world. Yeah, you go in the cave and there's stalactites and stalagmites, and you walk down this path and all of a sudden, whoosh, this big grand opening and this massive lake. And yeah, it's like a big, rock roof crater above you. You can't believe it. So you get on a little boat and you go out there and they fish they don't fish. They feed the fish, which are albino trout. They feed the fish, and that's the moment you go on an electric boat. It's very silent. And anyway, and then you turn around and come back and you walk back out. But it's absolutely amazing. And I cannot recommend the Lost Sea in Tennessee. They thought it was the world's largest underground body of water until the 90s, when a larger lake was discovered in a cave in Africa. Speaking of fish, you guys, you want a real freak of nature? How about Catalina Island? This is a taxidermied flying fish. Yes, this is what a flying fish looks like. Catalina Island, 26 miles across the sea. Santa Catalina is waiting for me. Santa Catalina is the Isle of Romance. Romance, romance, romance. Yeah, Santa Catalina. It's also the island of flying fish, the biggest flying fish in the world. You go out on a boat at like dusk and it gets dark pretty quickly and they shine a big light on the water and all of a sudden like you see one or two and then all of a sudden there's like 5,000 of them. It's unbelievable. I've done it twice. I can't even explain how bizarre it is to see fish fly. I know, it's shocking. But anyway, it only happens between, I think, May and like late September or something, so I cannot recommend it enough. Oh, you wanted to go on a sponge diving tour? Well, here we are in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Yes, we are. And this is the Nicholas Boat Line 9241. This boat is celebrating its 100th year this year. This is where a sponge diver, you get on the boat and a sponge diver puts on this big like underwater it's like out of a sci-fi 1950s movie, this like diving suit with this big metal helmet, which is just absolutely stunning. And he like leaps out of the boat and he walks underwater beside the boat and he hacks off a sea sponge and he comes back and then everybody gets to touch this very a sea sponge. They get to. I've done it. It's amazing. I love time-honored experiences when I travel. And I mean, if you're going to Florida, go to Tarpon Springs. Oh, fine. Oh, and then by the way, after this, you eat Greek food because this is a Greek town. And it is, well, of course, absolutely delicious because how much do we all love Greek food? How much do we all love boat trips? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Belle of Louisville. Yes. And this boat claims itself to be the most widely traveled river steamboat in American history and the oldest river steamboat in operation. The ride is about an hour long. You go about down the river and then you make a big U-turn. Now I am recalling that when I did this ride a few years ago, for some strange reason, I ask a lot of questions when I go places. And this woman who was kind of the boat engineer or whatever, I guess she had all of her assistants actually driving the boat or whatever, but she stood there and talked to me the entire hour long about everything to do with this steamboat. So, never be afraid to ask questions when you're on vacation. I mean, people love to fulfill your curiosities and answer your questions. Absolutely. Oh, okay. So Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. I went to visit my friends there and they were driving me around one evening. It was kind of like dusk, as you can see, it's kind of late in the afternoon. And they go, we're going to show you this and we're going to show you that. We're going to show you the Tom Sawyer paddle wheeler because they loved it so much. And anyway, they said it's been around forever, their entire lives. And so we get down there to like where it was, which is right here. It's a little woebegone, the whole thing. And all of a sudden, I couldn't really see because we were like in a minivan and I just couldn't really see I couldn't really see what they were reacting to when all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're like, oh, we're almost there. And then they're like, oh no, what's going on? It's horrible. And I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, it's sinking. Yeah, the Tom Sawyer had capsized. Well, nothing lasts forever. However, I did read online that 2 years ago, somebody bought the carcass. It's not a carcass. It still looks like that. The Tom Sawyer, and they are resurrecting it. And let it be known that I wish, and a lot of people wish, that the Tom Sawyer will ride on the Lake of the Ozarks again. Speaking of riding again, I think it's kind of like crystal clear that as many people that want to see the SS United States, our grandest ocean liner the United States ever built, they want to see it ride again. I don't think it run again, whatever, go again. I don't think it's ever going to. Anyway, this is one of the star attractions to me in all of Philadelphia, which, by the way, of course, is a wonderland to discover. Where do we begin? But anyway, when I went to Philadelphia, I'm like, I heard the SS United States was here, the carcass of it, or whatever. Here it is. And I said, where is it? And they go, drive to Target, look toward the front door of Target, and then turn around, and there it'll be. And that's exactly what I did, and there it was. So it was christened in 1951, and it had about 10-ish good years until by 1961, anybody who could afford to go on an ocean liner was like, why would I bother with that? I'm going to go on a big jet liner to Europe or wherever it was going. I guess it went back and forth to Europe. I mean, where else would it have gone? Anyway, so it is the SS United States, and it's still there. And by the way, the Queen Mary is the only thing that even rivals it, but the Queen Mary is from 1934. This is from 1951, and the Queen Mary is virtually intact. And you can go there and ride on. No, you don't go anywhere on it, but you can go there and experience it. It's quite original and quite wonderful. That's in Long Beach, California. But this one you can't even get on. So anyway, who knows what's to become of it. But speaking of boats and planes and trains, we're not at planes yet, but we're at trains. Oh, yes, we are. This is the Aerotrain. This picture was taken in the year of 1956 when General Motors debuted not one, but two trains of the future, their Aerotrain. And as you can see, it has a very futuristic experience. And anyway, the two Aerotrain lines, they ran for about 10 years and it just didn't quite, it was like, okay, we're going to retire them. So miraculously, both of them still exist. There's one in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the other one is here, which you were looking at it at the St. Louis Transportation Museum in St. Louis, Missouri. I know, so I have been there twice to look at this thing. I mean, it is I love futuristic design things from the past, especially from the mid-century era, of course. And this was the train of the future, and this is what they thought trains would look like. Anyway, it kind of looks like the front of a 1954, 55, or 56 Oldsmobile. I love the wraparound windshield. I love that roof line on it and everything. And anyway, it is quite something to see in person. If you don't quite get to St. Louis, you might as well go see the miniature version, the Zooliner, at the Portland, Oregon Zoo. And it has been there since 1958. I hope that it's still running. I think that it's still running. I'll never forget the day that I went to the Portland Zoo to see it with my friend Jeff there, a vintage Roadside, you guys. Actually, I call him Jelly because his wife's named Kelly, and I morph their names together. I call them Jelly, no matter which one I'm addressing. They love it. It's funny. Anyway, I mean, don't you love when, yeah, I mean, that happens. Anyway, so what happened is we get to, me and Jeff, we're a Jelly. We get there to the Portland Zoo, and it was 10 minutes before they were going to close. We were in a hurry. We'd been seeing so many things that I just had to see, the Zooliner. So anyway, we get there and we race over to where the train is, and the guys are all like, I'm sorry, we put it away for the day. And I'm like, no. They said, come back tomorrow. And I'm like, but I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I've come all the way from Los Angeles. Please, I'm begging you. Can't you please get out the Zooliner? And they're like, well, okay. And so they went and got it, fired it back up, brought it out, and took us on, me and Jelly, on the entire, several mile loop through the woods in the forest or whatever they call it around the zoo. And it was just absolutely magical. Never be afraid to ask. All they can say is no. Often they say yes. Speaking of wonderful rides, Seattle, Washington. This is the Alweg monorail, built for the 1962 World's Fair of Seattle. And it looks like a giant worm, you guys, but it actually is totally amazing. And it is still there, still operating in pristine condition. I've been there twice to ride it, and I could not believe when I went there, you guys. I thought that it was going to be all run down and wrapped with Fruitopia on graphics or whatever, or Gatorade or whatever, but no. There are two cars, a red one and a blue one. This is the red one, and with red stripe. Anyway, in perfect condition. I was absolutely spellbound, hypnotized, and mesmerized, just as I was seeing the greatest icon of Americana's space age, of mid-century modern architecture and icons and more galore. This is the Space Needle. Where do we begin to behold the glory of what I do consider to be the greatest mid-century modern structure on the planet? Certainly the most extreme, exquisite in every delightful design detail. It is like a flying saucer on top of a perfect tripod. Yes, it was built for the 62 World's Fair. Yes, it is still there. I'll never forget the first time I went there, I walked up and I said, how much is it to go to the top? And they said, it's $19. And I thought to myself, $19? That's insane. Shouldn't it be more like $195? I know. While you are in the Pacific Northwest, you might want to visit a really unusual folk art environment. I love folk art environments. I search for them everywhere I go, and there are some. I especially like them. The older they are, the better they are. I mean, I'm always about looking through the layers of time. This is Peterson's Rock Garden, originally built in 1935 by Rasmus Christian Peterson, who single-handedly built the entire attraction. This picture from the 50s, a vintage slide from my collection. Anyway, we are only seeing one small portion of it. Luckily, it has been preserved. It's out in the middle, kind of nowhere, on the outskirts of Bend, Oregon. And he worked on it from 1935 until 1952. When I was there, this was probably about 10 years ago. This was his granddaughter, and who had inherited the property and was like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. And then this man was a monk. I remember him telling me. Anyway, and I said, strike a pose, there's nothing to it. And they did. Your gift makes this garden possible. Thanks. Peterson's Rock Garden. What's it say? God, why can't I read that? Oh, Benton, Redmond, or Bend, Oregon. Okay. Not sure what that means, but anyway, it's near Bend, Oregon. Anyway, it was such an incredible experience. They gave me the royal tour, you guys. It is a whole extravaganza of a rock garden with all these various structures, of which look, like that one back there, similar in style and design. Also, there's this whole indoor museum, and with all these incredible rocks on display. And of course, the crowning touch, which you will agree with me, I'm sure, as much as we love folk art environments, is when you get to the inner sanctum, and the inner sanctum of the inner sanctum is a black light display. It wasn't that over the top or anything, but it didn't matter because it was a black light display, a time-honored, old-timey black light display. I was feeling the spirit. I was beholding the glory and basking in the glow of it all. Oh, you wanted a castle. Fine, be that way. Oh, a palace. Actually, it's more like a castle, if you ask me. Mitchell Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. Yes, I believe they started building it in 1922, didn't they? Yeah, I think so. It is the architectural showplace of the world. And really, besides Disneyland and Disney World, can't leave Disney World out, gotta be the greatest castle in the United States, you guys. Certainly it's the only one. It's the only castle in the world that is covered with corn cobs. So they make corn cob art there. You can see there's leaping deer there. This slide was taken in 1955. They redecorate the exterior. They replace the corn cobs, redo the art once a year. So Mitchell Corn Palace, I've never been there, but I want to go there. I really do. It's so on my list, and it definitely should be on yours because it is an icon of Americana. And how much do we all love corn? I know, in any form, especially when it's decorating a palace, or as I'm going to call it, why didn't they call it the Corn Castle? I know. Don't you love alliteration? Corn Castle. I know. Speaking of castles, here's Mr. Rogers' Castle. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Why am I blanking on how the song goes now? I guess because, frankly, I'm just a little too old to have watched Mr. Rogers. But I did, I think, watch him a little bit. Won't you be my neighbor? I know I love that part, don't you? So yeah, this is the castle from the set of the Mr. Rogers show. This is at the Heinz History Museum, which of course is a treasure trove. Oh my gosh, all the museums in the United States filled with wonderful treasures. Yes, so I know, where do we begin? Okay, fine, the castle tour continues, you guys. This is King's Chef Diner in Colorado Springs, Colorado, a prefab diner from 1955. Apparently, according to the legend, it is the only prefab diner made by the Valentine Prefab Diner Company that is shaped like and is like and looks like and acts like and feels like and gives us the vibe of and the feeling of a castle. So it is the place in Colorado Springs to dine for breakfast. And apparently, they have a local food there. It's called the Original Grump. That's the name of the dish. I always go for local foods everywhere I go. Always go for the local foods. The specialty of the house, that's what you always order everywhere. Don't try to veer off specialty of the house. always the specialty of the house. In this case, it's called the Original Grump, and it is a mound of hash browns, grilled onions, bacon, shredded, cheese, shredded cheese. Oh my God, I think a bald eagle just flew by. No, maybe it was a seagull. Anyway, and yeah, okay, and breakfast gravy. That's what it is. Sorry, I got distracted by a bald eagle that turned out to be a seagull. Anyway, things aren't always what they seem, are they? But anyway, I just love this place. As you can see, I was very enthusiastic about being there. Speaking of enthusiastic about being there, you guys, my favorite place, I have to say, I mean, it's hard to choose, but this might have to be it. Lakeside Amusement Park in Denver, Colorado is a trolley car amusement park. You can look that up later. From 1909 till now, it's still going. It is hanging on by a thread. It is a miracle that it is still there. That is the original tower from 1909, the Tower of Lights. It was built out in the middle of nowhere. Basically, as many of these trolley car amusement parks were, they were beer gardens with attractions, and more attractions they had, the more beer they would make and the more money the owners would make. Anyway, this one evolved over the years, and you're looking at not the lake that it's on. It is Lakeside Amusement Park. You were looking at the backside of the Scuda boats. This is the most highly stylized, like Victorian, craftsman, streamlined modern, Art Deco, and Googie style amusement park in the United States. It is absolutely spectacular. I'm begging you to get on an airplane to Denver to go look at it. There was just an article in the Denver Post about how much longer can this place actually go on. I mean, in the reality of reality, look at that ticket booth, look at that neon, look at that font, look at everything about this. I mean, you cannot even photograph this place. It is absolutely unphotographable. That is the ticket booth for the ride, the Hurricane back there. Look how it's lined with the lights. The Ferris wheel. And look at the little ticket booth for Ferris wheel. The way it says Ferris wheel written out in your favorite lesbian aunt's handwriting. I mean, this place is absolutely to die for. Lakeside Amusement Park. Yeah, you heard me. Lakeside Amusement Park, Denver, Colorado. Auto scooter. This is from the 1930s. And it is still there, still intact, still going, still glowing. And I think I need to get on a plane and go to Denver. I really do, because it's serious. Look at the roller coaster. This is an Art Deco masterpiece. The facade of the roller coaster. I mean, you're not even seeing all the details here. Look at that black backlit glass block, yellow neon behind it. Those, you know, the very geometric boom, boom, boom of orange there. The way it says Cyclone Coaster. Those lettering, the ramps, the railings, oh, absolutely breathtaking. As is this, while you're in Colorado, this is the Cog Railway Depot in Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs, sorry, right up the road from Colorado Springs. This is not from 1869, but the Cog Railway has been going up the hill since 1869. What am I saying? Super old-timey attraction. And this is, as I just said, sorry, I'm getting excited because this is all so amazing. And so where do we begin to behold the glory? I'm just asking where. Anyway, this is the station, and it still looks exactly like this. This picture was taken, well, that's a 57 Chevy. It was taken back in the day. So there you go. Don't you love a 57 Chevy painted up as a cab? I know. Who did the color blocking on that? It's very effective, you will have to admit. As is a little rickrack trim and that kind of like, Swiss Miss Mod look to the whole place. I love it. And the roof is pink, but we're not talking about a pink roof. This is Pikes Peak. These are the rail cars from the 1950s and that Trailways bus that got up there. Don't you love the skylights on it? I know. And of course, the skylights on the classic Manitou Railway cars that go up there. They don't look like this anymore, but I have been up it, and you should too. When you get up there, you just look at the view and you go, wow, isn't it beautiful? And then you might sing a little chorus of, well, actually I did. Of course, I stood there at the edge and I was like, on a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you'll feel part of. Every mountain, sea, and shore you can hear from far and near. A world you've never ever heard before. 'Cause on a clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and ever and ever and ever more. Yeah, that's what it's like, you guys. I mean, you just want to sing like a bird because it's absolutely just wonderful. Anyway, yeah, Pikes Peak in Manitou Springs, Colorado. This is not the inside of that. This is another rail experience altogether. This is Lookout Mountain Incline Railway in Rock City in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You guys, you got to go up to the mountain. It is one of the steepest passenger rail experiences in the known universe. It's been going since 1895. Yeah, the Incline Railway. And again, it's just like one of those experiences you never forget. It's really steep. Once you get up at the top, I mean, you can see 7 states. You can do, there's all kinds of things to do on the top of Lookout Mountain. But of course, my favorite was the Fairyland Caverns. Yes, I mean, this entrance, I'm not sure how far back the attraction inside goes, probably to the 1930s, but I love the powder-coated steel cutout of Little Red Riding Hood up there. I know, don't you love Little Red Riding Hood? I know. Anyway, so yeah, I was very excited to be there. Those are not landing lights for an airplane. No, you guys, this is the inside of this giant blacklight attraction, probably the biggest blacklight attraction in the United States. You cannot photograph it, but I tried because I wanted to share it with you. Yes, anyway, welcome to Mother Goose Village. We could go on and on and on. I mean, I love it looks like English royalty there. Is that the Queen of England going for a ride there? I'm not sure. The horses. And where do we begin to behold the glory of how much we all seriously love Humpty Dumpty? I know. So, by the way, I will tell you, I was at Disney at Imagineering, and I was getting the backstage tour, and they said, won't you come into our blacklight studio, where the artisans were painting these maquettes with blacklight paint, and it was like a model for an attraction they were building at Disney World at the time, and or they were going to build. And anyway, they said, our secret is, I said, what is it? And they said, you have to blend a little white in with your Day-Glo paint to really like bring out the depth of the light and give it a base for it to reflect into our eyes and to sear our souls. Blacklight, you guys, I know, how much do we all love blacklight? Where do we begin? Anyway, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty's still here. This is, what's it called? Oh no, I didn't write myself a note. Now I don't remember. It's in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, and Storybook Gardens, I think. Anyway, so this is a slide from the 50s. I love that this is like Humpty Dumpty and Pee Wee Herman had a baby, isn't it? I know, because look at the suit, total Pee Wee Herman. Humpty Dumpty's still here. It is still there. I had to go. I'm so all about like connecting the dots of time and looking through the layers of. I mean, that's kind of my thing. I want to go to these time-honored attractions and share them with you. So anyway, he's not quite as Pee Wee Herman as he used to be, but I was just shocked that he was still there, of course. To enter the park, you have to go through this giant open book. I mean, how much do we love walking through a book? I know. I mean, a grand entrance is everything. First impressions, no matter what it is, are so important. Here is the land of once upon a time. Step through the pages of this big storybook and visit the people and places every child knows and loves. Their dreams are real, and so are our storybook friends. Okay, so I walked in the door, and immediately to the right, the first thing on the wall that I saw was this. And I was like, okay, this is speaking to me. I get it. I love it. I don't know. Some people know what nursery rhyme this is. I do not, but I have to just say, whoever painted this, like, deserves an award. I mean, I love everything about these people. I mean, they look three-dimensional, yet they are as flat as a pancake. I love the plaid suit. I love the red top hat. I love the spats. I love her outfit, a simple white pump over a little cropped little shirt with a little ruffle on the bottom of a kind of long, a short sleeve, and that big giant ruffled cheerleader skirt, and she's got a hat with a little feather and everything. I know. It's like the art is amazing, and they're just sparkling. They're like looking at us. I mean, you can feel them. I know. And they kind of remind me of these two right here. This like cutout is so bizarre. I know. Anyway, this cutout is absolutely spectacular, and I had to share it with you. It's at the Travelette Motel in Bordenton, New Jersey. Yes, I was on my way from Pennsylvania to New York, and I ran across this, and I pulled over to the side of the road. I'm like, anytime a word is ending with et or rama or all of those kind of things, I love it. Et, travel et, the Travelette Motel, please. I did not stay there because I was on my way here. Yes, it is the Enchanted Forest, built in 1956 in the Adirondacks in upstate New York. Yes, indeed. It is still there. It still looks like that. And the one time that I was there, of all people that I actually went with, was my dear friend, Paul Rubens. Yeah, Pee Wee Herman himself. And I'll never forget, I mean, it's kind of a story of how we wound up there together. But anyway, as we were preparing to go, I mean, you know, he's famous. So this was about 2004, I think. Or was it? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. About that time. He's like, you know, I have to put on a disguise because I'm going to be recognized. And, you know, I don't want to be recognized because I want to experience this place. And so, anyway, so we get there and he had on sunglasses that kind of wrapped around and this hat that had this thing coming down the side. And I'm like, nobody's going to recognize you, Paul. Don't worry. Of course, we get 3 feet in the door and it was like, everybody recognized him. And, you know, he spent like 10 minutes greeting everybody. And then he's like, I think we better go. So I never did get to see the Enchanted Forest, but that's okay. I'll go back because it's always nice not to see everything everywhere you go because then you have an excuse to go back. This is the other Enchanted Forest. This is in Salem, Oregon. And Humpty Dumpty, yeah, everywhere you go, there's like a Humpty Dumpty. I mean, if you go searching for the Humpty Dumptys in the world, you will find them. So I don't necessarily go searching for Humpty Dumptys, but they seem to find me. And I mean, we could go on. There's more. But anyway, this Humpty Dumpty at the Enchanted Forest in Salem, Oregon, was sitting there on the wall for decades. It opened in 1971, and until about 5 years ago, when some hoodie kids actually pushed him off and like broke him, they had never had so much publicity. So when the Enchanted Forest in Salem, Oregon got all this publicity that these 2 punk kids actually pushed the Humpty Dumpty off the wall, I mean, the business like skyrocketed. This is Roger Tofty. He is the man who with his family created and still owns, he's 94 years old now. This picture was taken about 10 years ago. Anyway, I better calm down. Wait, let's just have a toast to Roger Tofty, because Roger, you're a hero to us for creating this incredible place. It's like a nursery rhyme forest in the, Enchanted Forest. It's a forest and nursery rhymes. There is like a Tyrolean village there. There's dancing waters there. There's a western town there. There's like a little roller coaster there. I mean, it is a little handmade, homemade, homespun theme park. And this is the guy. So anyway, about 10 years ago when I was there and took this picture, and I did this show in Portland, and I invited him to come. And so, because I said, I'm going to pay tribute to you because everyone in Portland loves Enchanted Village and everything. I mean, Enchanted Forest. And so I invited him and he sat in the front row with his family and everything. And at the end of the show, when I got to the part about the Enchanted Forest, and I made a really big deal out of him, and I said, let's all cheer for him. And he stood up and everything. The whole audience cheered for him and stood and clapped and everything. And he was like, and then he was really touched. And afterwards, his 10-year-old grandson came up to me and said, he was crying and said, this is the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to my grandfather. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'll never forget that. I mean, we have to pay tribute to these people. Roger Tofty is 94 years old now. Roger, you're a hero to us. I mean, and there are others like you too that have created by hand these very special places. Roger was responsible for this. And yes, this is the Enchanted Forest. His Enchanted Forest is quite enchanted. Don't you love this Alice in Wonderland scene? I do not know that story that well. I'm sorry, I haven't seen that Disney movie yet. I will one day. But apparently there is a world where giant mushrooms and pickle people turn into caterpillars or something. I don't know, but I do know that on the bottom there of this frame, those are not film sprockets, even though this isn't even a classic slide, a vintage slide. This is a picture that I took there 10 years ago, but I'm sure this display is still there, and I'm sure that little blue, that beautiful turquoise blue picket fence is still there. Speaking of mushrooms, I was thirsty at Kennywood Amusement Park just outside of Pittsburgh. I'll never forget, I was on my way to Pittsburgh. I was landing on the airplane. I checked my texts just as I was exiting the airplane, and My friend Brian Butko was texting me. Actually, we hadn't become friends yet, but he said, I hear you're coming to town. I'm Brian Butko, and I work at the Heinz History Center, and I've written several books on the area, and I know everything about the area, and I know all the things you like, and I'm picking you up right now, and we're headed straight to Kennywood. And that's exactly what we did, and it was an extravaganza. We went all over Pittsburgh. I mean, it is a wonderland to discover. You guys, there's stuff everywhere. But anyway, at Kennywood, I mean, we could go on just about Kennywood, but I love giant mushrooms, don't you? I know. I love, especially when they're red with white polka dots, and of course I was thirsty. Speaking of thirsty, this is the iconic Wall Drug. Again, I've never been there. It's in South Dakota. It's called the Ice Water Store. They are celebrating their 93rd year this year. Free ice water. They still give it away all these years later. It is really among the most iconic roadside attractions in the United States. And of course, it is near Old Faithful. I'm not Old Faithful, what I'm saying. What am I? Mount Rushmore. I've lost my mind completely, clearly. Let me have a drink. I got to have a little moment here, you guys. Study this, and you tell me what is not true about this billboard. Yeah, you got it right. South Dakota, the land of infinite variety? I don't think so. But anyway, actually, I don't know. I've never been to South Dakota, but I'd like to go to South Dakota because that's where my grandfather's family went to Norway. They went from Norway to South Dakota, and then South Dakota to Southern California. Yes, they did indeed. But anyway, and I've never been to Mount Rushmore, but I want to go to Mount Rushmore. Speaking of Mount Rushmore, when you are in that vicinity, in Great Falls, Montana, is the Sip and Dip. Gosh, I don't have a note on this, but I forgot exactly, frankly. I can't remember everything. I forgot what year they started, but it's like 1962, and it is a mermaid lounge, you guys. It is a cocktail lounge piano bar where they have a window into the swimming pool and mermaids swim during cocktail hour, you guys. I mean, where do we begin? This is a very unique experience. I mean, I know of one other place in Florida that does a mermaid swim, and that would be, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Weeki Watchy. This is the world's greatest underwater theater. Yes, indeed it is. Since the year of 1947, going strong to this day. It is a very popular tourist attraction in Florida. Yes, Weeki Watchy, where you go to see the mermaids swim underwater. I've been there only once. I do highly recommend that you get there the first show of the day, because otherwise you're going to be waiting in line forever. Because as I said, super popular. I love seeing the mermaids underwater. And I'll never forget when I was there, it's actually a real spring. And they stay underwater for a long time. They have these long breathing tubes. You can see them there. This is actually a postcard, you guys. But anyway, this Army frogman developed this underwater breathing system in 1947, and therefore turned this spring, this real life spring, into the world's greatest underwater theater. But the funny thing is that when I was there, I don't know if this happens every day. I mean, I doubt it. But so the mermaids were doing their routine or whatever, and it lasted about 15 minutes. I mean, yeah. So what happened was, though, a turtle is in the spring, this wild spring of water. This wild turtle's in there, and so turtles are smart, we know that. So the turtle did like a minute of the routine with the mermaids. I could not believe it. It was magical. Everyone was in awe. I mean, it was one of those moments you just don't forget. Speaking of not forgetting, okay, this is a little obscure, this is a little out there, but I just had to show it to you, because at another one of Florida's iconic tourist attractions, Silver Springs, Florida, I went there. It's you look through a glass bottom boat, and that it has been a time-honored experience. It is still a time-honored experience since 1878. This has been a tourist attraction, but this is a diorama, you guys. This is a diorama that was on display in the lobby. I think like they had just it's been a few years ago since I was there, and I heard it's still in the lobby. But anyway, they had like buried it deep in their warehouse or whatever, but they had pulled it out recently when I was there. And anyway, I absolutely passed out. This is a close-up of it. Apparently, this was a traveling exhibit that went around to like travel conventions or whatever, representing Silver Springs. I cannot tell you how amazingly detailed it was. This picture does not do it justice, but it was perfectly rendered. I wish that we could see it. But again, The greatest things in the world are not photographable, and this is one of them. But down below is like an aquarium, so you could see down below, and they probably had fish in there back in the day. I just love the little boats and everything. Okay, fine. I know I'm kind of going on, but I hope when you get to Silver Springs that it is still there. Bask in the glory of this. This is the Cascades, a man-made waterfall, light, and music show in Jackson, Mississippi. It's been there since 1932. It is still going during the summer months, and the gentleman that created the entire thing, I'm sorry that I don't have his name right now, but anyway, he was the man who made his fortune building Spartan radios and televisions. Yes, authorized factory sales and service. So beside the Cascades waterfall attraction that happens at dusk every night during the summer, there is a little museum full of all the old Spartan radios. And anyway, there were many of them, but I took a picture of this one, donated by Virginia Lee Smiley. Shively, I beg your pardon. A Spartan radio built in Jackson, Mississippi. Anyway, I love the style of it. I love the design of it. I love the materials of it, the colors of it, the copper, the green, the speaker cloth, the speaker up above, the speaker in front, and that script on it, very 1930s. Even though I think this radio is probably from the late 40s or the early 50s. But anyway, and of course, I'm sorry about the dent in the speaker grill there, but not everything is perfect, is it? I know, accidents happen. But anyway, nevertheless, still a treasure to behold. Also, in that small museum is a display of the fraternal organization that the gentleman who built the Cascades, I'm sorry I don't have his name, but anyway, he was the head of this fraternal organization there called the Zouaves. And their uniforms, their costumes, whatever we want to call them. That was the tour guide, that lady right there. I know, I love old ladies in museums. I love old people, period. I love to ask them questions. They know everything. But anyway, here is the Zouaves in 1952 when they were a guest on the Ed Sullivan Show. And that's Ed Sullivan there. And I don't know, he has some sort of an award or something he's giving him. But anyway, Ed Sullivan was sponsored by Mercury for years on television. And but what I wanted to say is, the Zouaves appeared 7 times on the Ed Sullivan Show over a 10-year period. So anyway, just random things that you find along the way. I mean, I went to see the Cascades and wound up getting an education about Spartan radios and the Zouaves. I mean, how much do we love that? I know. How much do we love this? I'm going to let you bask in the glow of just that word, just that font. I'm going to have a drink, and you can too. Cheers. I love the word astronaut. I still want to be an astronaut. If they asked me to go to the moon, I would say yes. I want to go to the moon. I love everything about the whole idea of it all. And this is the Astronaut Motel in Wildwood, New Jersey. Wildwood, New Jersey is a mid-century resort town on the New Jersey shore. I have been there 2 times. The first time I ever went there, I arrived in the deep dark of pitch black night. And I looked up and boom, I saw this and I clicked. Yes, the astronaut. This is the Alakai. It is a spellbinding, spectacular array, display of beautiful mid-century motels and these really unusual, unique signs. This one, the Lollipop. Where do we begin to behold the glory of any place that we okay, I don't know what I'm saying. I've lost my mind. It is a little mind-boggling. I mean, anywhere you go and you see this, I mean, your mind begins to short circuit, as mine is doing right now. We might as well get it out in the open. I know. There's a lot to look at. Those 3 stars, the big lollipop, the 2 kids looking at each other, the color theory, red, lavender, and yellow, and green, and apricot, or do you call that peach? I just love everything about it. I mean, it's hypnotizing, spellbinding, and mesmerizing, as is this sign there, the Panoramic Motel and Apartments. Yeah, a mid-century display extravaganza and more galore. This is modernism at its most simplistic. It is the epitome of mid-century modernity, post and beam simplicity, form follows function, a 3-story motel, divine in its true simplicity. I love the color theory, the red doors, the turquoise curtains, that kind of pale yellow fascia board there, the curve of the railings there, and of course the swimming pool. And there was another photo that I was going to show you that they have right beside the swimming pool, a miniature golf course, you guys, but we can't see it all. We don't have time because we got to see this. This is the pièce de résistance of all the mid-century motels in Wildwood, New Jersey. I know, it's a lot to take in. The Caribbean. Yes, built in the year of 1957. That sign alone, where do you see a sea that starts way over there and comes back at you? Twirls around, swirls around, and then gives you the rest of the word with a star, boom, on top of the eye there like that. Look at that building. Look at that second floor. That's kind of the hospitality suite up there. That curved ramp that wraps around. I mean, I did not stay there because, of course, it was sold out. And next time I go, I'm definitely going to stay there. And, of course, I love fudge everywhere I go. Laura's Fudge Shop. Yeah, Laura's Fudge Shop. One of my favorite places there. Laura's has been in business for decades. I love the little pixie people that are stirring the copper kettles of fudge, and just the font, the word fudge is spelled out in. I love how it kind of goes bigger on the top and everything. Oh, I know. I just love places like this. I mean, you guys, they're few and far between, and we got to appreciate them when we find them. On the boardwalk there at Wildwood, New Jersey, this was one of the only vintage storefronts left, Max Pizza from 1956. I love how the word Max, M is two-toned on the neon. The A is all the turquoise, or do you call that seafoam? The C is all the peach. The C is all the seafoam. And then the red, again, is the seafoam and the peach. Don't you love that? I know. And anyway, at night, glittering. Where do we begin? Oh, fine, you didn't want pizza, you wanted taffy. How about the Douglas Fudge Shop there? A pillar of civilization since the year of 1919. It is the oldest family-owned business in Wildwood, New Jersey. I love to look at a case full of candy in every way, every day. I love the guy there. He's like, why are you taking my picture? Actually, dude, I wasn't. I was just taking a picture of the whole place. And what a perfect ET moment that we have there between customer and, counter girl. But anyway, here is a box of Douglas Taffy's long taffy, they call it. Can't even speak. Douglas long taffy. And it looks like in the middle there, of course, the centerpiece is several flavors of fudge, including 2 in the middle with nuts. Are you with nuts or without nuts? I'm with. But anyway, speaking of with, I'm always with the team of vintage not handmade. No, it's not handmade, but it's custom loomed carpet. Anywhere you go and they have branded carpet, you guys, I mean, it's a lot for the brain to comprehend, because where do you ever go in a candy store? This has got to be the only candy store in the United States on the planet that has branded custom woven carpet. So bask in the glory of that. I love the seams are a little woven, and I know, it's unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable, as is the Douglas taffy, the old-fashioned saltwater taffy box in plaid. I love plaid. I love plaid. I love plaid. I love plaid. Indeed, I do. This is the big elephant. And it's one of the only things I don't have a note on here. I admit it. I act like I know everything, but I don't. And since these slideshows have so much information, I usually give myself notes. But I know it's been there. Lucy! The big elephant. I've been there since 1893. Anyway, a miracle of roadside attractionness for, all these years. Still there, still maintained, and still an icon of the Atlantic seaboard, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, in every way, every day. And you too can go there. All you do is walk in. I think you walk in. But anyway, you didn't want an elephant, you wanted a bull. Fine. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word and the skies are not cloudy. all day. Yes, this is the Dakota Thunder, named recently in a Name the Big Giant Buffalo contest there in Jamestown, South Dakota. Yes, this has been a roadside icon there in the big SD state since the year of 1959. Speaking of interesting museums, you guys, and giant things. I guess I didn't say we're on the giant thing kick right now, but we are. Yeah, don't you love giant things and miniatures? I know, we do. We love, us humans, we love that stuff. So, the Idaho Potato Museum in Blackfoot, Idaho. Outside, yeah, I'm giving a big hug to the big baked potato out there with sour cream and chives. I mean, no, there's no chives, butter, sour cream and butter. I will take my baked potato in any way. Typically I don't have Cheese Whiz on them. Not because I don't like Cheese Whiz, I do, but I mean, I fear I'll get addicted and then I will only want to eat Cheese Whiz and nothing else, because that's how good it is. So sour cream and butter and chives on a baked potato is my go-to. But anyway, yes, okay, better calm down. Everything's fine. How's everybody doing? Do you need a break for a second? I think I might. I'm gonna have a little drink of water before I tell you about the Idaho Potato Museum, you guys. Oh my God, it's so amazing. I walk in the door, there's a right side and a left side. So they're like, which one do you like? Which one do you want to see first? Take your pick. So I said, okay, I'll go over here. So the right side is all like literally 3,000 different potato peelers. That's what's in there. That's it. On the other side, the left side of the museum, the other side, 3,000-ish potato mashers. That's it. One side is potato peelers, the other side is potato mashers. I know, it's wonderful. So when I left, they said, "Oh, don't leave yet. We have something for you." And they gave me and my friend that I was with a little box of instant mashed potatoes from some off-brand. And it was a little miniature promotional box, and it was bright yellow. And I'm like, oh, I love the graphics. And I start reading it and everything. And anyway, I was looking closely, and it said like the expiration date was like 2004. And I'm like, oh gosh, I mean, I know, unbelievable. Of course, I took them home, made them, and ate them. Okay, no, I didn't really, but I should have. Speaking of homespun and family run there, oh yeah, in Chicago, it is where you will find the giant Radio Flyer wagon. Yeah, see how small I am against it? It's huge. Family owned since 1917. Yes, Radio Flyer, Chicago, Illinois. Radio Flyer, again, an icon of Americana. There could be a whole show about Radio Flyer. Oh yeah, there could. How much do we love, again, giant things? Well, this one's actually called Giganta. Giganta was introduced as a playground attraction in the year of 1965, manufactured in Southern California. And this is the greatest example left of him. I know of one other, but anyway, this was in some obscure playground outside of Fort Worth, Texas. And not only was he there, but there was an incredible display of all this other vintage playground equipment, like somebody's really into it there, in at this park where you will find Giganta. So just search Fort Worth Giganta, and I was absolutely flabbergasted because this is a mid-century modern masterpiece. Wouldn't you agree? Frankenstein, 3 stories. Oh, so wonderful. I could barely fit through that slide, but I made it. I thought I was going to get stuck. Speaking of giant things, this is in, I believe, York, Pennsylvania. This is the Big Shoe. It has been there since about 1935. Hanes giant shoe. Mr. Hain was a shoe manufacturer. And, oh, you guys, he decided to build a big giant shoe and basically turn it into a honeymoon cottage, a honeymoon suite. A honeymoon place where honeymooners would stay, as they did for, I don't know how many years, starting in 1935. But anyway, it got bought about 15, 20 years ago from a young couple, and they restored it and everything. And you go in and you sit down, you walk around, whatever. And in the heel is actually where the garage door is, and you can kind of see it there. And that is where they have a little snack bar, you guys. And somebody specially made them a die cut or a brownie mold. And so they have blondies and brownies in the shape of the Big Shoe. Don't you love that? I know. Speaking of big shoes, in Holland, Michigan, this is the Holland themed, Dutch themed little amusement park there, you guys. It's been there probably since about the 1930s. This is just one attraction there. This was taken in the 1960s. It is still there. I got there to the little Dutch themed amusement park and in Holland, Michigan, and it was 5 o'clock. And the website said they closed at 6. And as I was getting there, as I was walking up, they were closing the door and like locking the gate. I'm like, wait a minute. I've come all the way from California and the website says 6 o'clock. They said, I'm sorry. We close at 5. And I said, but the website said 6, but the website said 6. The website said 6. I've come all the way from California to see this wonderful, magical place. Please let me in. I'm sorry. We close at 5. And so I stood there and started to cry or whatever. And so the next thing you know, I'm getting the royal tour from the owner of the park. So it never hurts to be disappointed and act polite about it. But, you never know what's going to happen. Speaking of Land of the Giants, this is the ultimate Land of the Giants in the United States, you guys. Since 1886, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Yes, the Statue of Liberté. There she is in all of her glory. I love the photo. This slide, this vintage slide from the 60s. The composition is just so that connection between the eyeball and Lady Liberty there through that horn rim, that shaded lens of that horn rim frame. I know. It's just, there's something about it. I just love it. But anyway, I have to say, I have been there once up the Statue of Liberty, and quite frankly, I probably wouldn't do it again because it was the most claustrophobic experience I've ever had. You do finally get up there at the top and you're able to look up, but there's so many people in front of you and behind you, and you don't know how, if you had to get out of there. But anyway, I'm not trying to discourage you. It's something you have to do once, and I did. Okay, speaking of doing once, you guys, the folk art capital of the world, Lucas, Kansas, here it is. So this is one of the most bizarre places I've ever been. Sam Dinsmore was this kind of a very small scale, P.T. Barnum. He wanted to attract attention. And in the late 1880s, he started this weird sculpture garden in what he called outside of his cabin home in Lucas, Kansas. And Garden of Eden. He was an artist and a social commentator, a folk artist. So between 1907 and 1908, he did create this unusual, bizarre environment, which has been a tourist attraction for as long as it's been there. But it got restored in 1969 and has kind of been on the map really since then, on the road trip tourist map. But I mean, it even was before. There's all kinds of lore associated with this Garden of Eden. But the most bizarre part of it, you guys, okay, weirdly, I wasn't expecting this. They did not warn me. But it's this is weird. It's macabre. It's absolutely so crazy because that is his little, not on the left, on the right. That's his mausoleum. He is buried in there in a clear topped casket. This guy died in, what year did he die? I forgot, but anyway, he's been 1928 or something. Yeah, that long. But he's in there, and you go in there and they don't tell you you're going to see a dead body. I haven't seen that many dead bodies in my life, quite frankly, and I saw his. It's so bizarre. And I guess in the early 2000s or something, somehow the glass on top of the casket, it was all airtight and everything was fine. It cracked and not water, but air got in there, and his face is now turned to mush, green mush. So, I was I couldn't even look at it. It was so bizarre. Really, it was so bizarre. But I forgot about it because up the block around the corner in Lucas, Kansas, there was this Brandt's Homemade Bologna shop. And I always go for the unusual, the unique. And yes, Lucas, Kansas is the home of the folk art environment capital of the United States, the folk art environment capital of the United States, and the homemade bologna capital. And here it is. This is third generation Mr. Brandt. And there is the specialty of the house, some bologna for you. And of course, free samples. And always when you go to these places, whether you want the product or not, And, I don't really eat bologna that much. I did as a child sometimes, of course. I mean, didn't you? I know. But anyway, of course you have to try it. Of course you have to buy some. I mean, we have to support these small businesses. And of course, I bought some, ate it in the car. It was delicious. But anyway, speaking of bologna, you want hot dogs? Fine, be that way. Flory and Maury, formerly attired in mustard relish, onion. Oh, wait, what am I saying? I'm reading my notes and I'm crazy. Sorry. Okay, you guys, I better calm down. I think I better have a little drink. Everybody okay so far? I thought so. I know. How much do we love the USA? Road trip. Yeah, we're going. We're doing this. We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. We're in Chicago. Okay, and this is one of my favorite fast food stands in the entire known universe. Superdog. Started in Chicago on this location in 1948, I believe. Flory and Maury, a husband and wife, they started it. That's them on the roof, personified, caricaturized as his and hers hot dogs. I love her. She kind of reminds me of the character we saw a little while ago with that flouncy skirt in the same color. And he is wearing a caveman uniform, a hot dog dressed up as a caveman, you guys. Where do we begin? I know. But anyway, Superdog has super graphics. They also have super burgers, thick malts, and super sundaes. And you guys, the best food packaging of anywhere I've ever been. And their hot dogs are what they call formally attired in mustard, relish, onion pickle, and hot peppers. So when in Chicago, you want a hot dog? Fine. Yes, you do. This is, you guys, at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. Again, that is a whole show, as is Greenfield Village right next door. We could get into it, but we don't have time. There is so much to see. Actually, the Vacationland USA show. Wait, was I calling it Vacationland USA? That's the name of the show. Anyway, this show could go on for 10,000 years because there is that much to experience. But right now, only the highlights that we're getting in this show, which includes, of course, you cannot go across the United States. You cannot visit Michigan without, paying homage to, paying tribute to, being in front of, standing and basking in the glory of the glow of. This is the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, you guys, the greatest advertising vehicle, the most famous, the most legendary, the most iconic ever of all time in the history of advertising vehicles. The first one was in 1936, I believe. This is the 1952 version. I believe they made 9 of them in 1952, but this is the only survivor. It is in absolutely pristine condition, and to stand before it is a religious experience of the absolute highest order. Where do we begin to behold the glory of the legendary Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? Yes, yellow band wieners. That's what it says right there on the side of it. And there is the yellow band around the wiener. So there you go. Speaking of, you guys, all things wonderful as we are, Reno, Nevada, I believe the year is 1942 on this absolutely relic of an iconic landmark in Reno, Nevada, hanging on by a thread, still standing. Of course, it is the Sandman Motel. We love everything about it, the color theory, the style guide, the curve of it, the little 2 stripes there. And of course, the word Sandman, again, rounded corners, very streamlined modern, and of course, a streamlined modern car, which I have identified more or less as a 1942 Pontiac. So that puts us at the year that this was probably built. And this is a masterpiece of roadside American neon signage. And I know that's another whole topic altogether. I weep, because this is truly special and so Americana. I know. It's wonderful. It's still there. You can enjoy it. This is in Salt Lake City, you guys. It's like, okay, they've got the Mormon temple, and then they've got the Mormon temple in neon on top of the Temple City Motel. So you can see the actual Mormon temple, and you can see the neon version on top of a motel sign. And this was the first time that I was there. The second time I went back, this sign was restored to divine perfection, which makes me very, very happy. A lot of these signs that have now survived all of this time, these vintage motel signs, somehow are finding their way back and being restored in place. I'm not sure if the Big Bunny Motel in Denver, Colorado on Colfax Avenue, Has yet been restored, but I love this one. It was originally called the Bugs Bunny Motel, but apparently Warner Brothers had a beef with the Big Bunny Motel, the Bugs Bunny Motel, and said you have to change the name. So as you can see, they had to change it to the Big Bunny Motel. The S is kind of trying to be painted out there, and the I is gone altogether. But what I love more than anything is that caricature of a big-toothed bunny. And in one hand, in his right hand, he has a carrot. In his left hand, a roll of toilet paper. I know. I don't know. I know. It's so amazing. Sorry. I'm getting excited and hiccuping. Do you ever have the hiccups? I know, hiccups. Okay, sorry. Vernal, Utah, you guys. This is 1959 Dinahville Motel. And that is well, we might as well just say it, a big gay dinosaur. Don't you love him? I know, he's so great. Or maybe it's a she, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of a dinosaur in drag, actually. So yeah, it still stands. They still stand. Thank you. They still stand. The big pink dinosaur does no longer hold up that Dinahville. I know, I love Ville on any word, at the end of any word. Dinahville Motel does no longer stand, but the big dinosaur does. The big dinosaur is now the official greeter of Vernal, Utah. I have not seen them in person, but hopefully someday I will. I have seen this in person. Actually, it doesn't look like this. This is Little America. This is America's Travel Center. 1952 it was built. This is 1962. We are in rural Wyoming. And is this Cheyenne, Wyoming? I act like I know what I'm talking about all the time, but clearly I don't. Anyway, but I just love this. I love the way it says motel on the building there. It says motel lodges, cocktail lounge, coffee shop entrance. I love the entrance sign, don't you? Fountain, coffee shop fountain, and beautiful in script there, dining room. I'm sure dining room is beautiful. But what we're looking at is the penguin on top. Of course, Mr. Koval. Now I forgot the guy's name. Koval's Little America. Yeah, it's got to be Koval. Anyway, sorry, gosh, I'm getting forgetful. When he built this in 1952 and put the penguin up there, he said, we have to call up the South Pole and get a penguin delivered here so we can put him in a cage in the lobby. And so they did, but by the time he got there, the penguin had died. So they were all sad and everything. And, when they opened him up and he was dead, DOA. So without skipping a beat, Mr. Koval said, hey, don't worry about it. Call the taxidermist. Stuff him. Call the taxidermist. Let's have him stuffed. And it's exactly what they did. And the penguin is still on display in the lobby of Little America in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Speaking of things on top of neon signs, yes, we are right now. The Orbit Inn Motel restaurant. Steak, $2.45, Las Vegas, Nevada. The year is 1964. Long gone this place is, but it will always be a legend because sadly in about 1963, I think it was, later, 1966, there was an act of terrorism here. Yeah, somebody brought a bomb into a room and blew up the place. The whole place didn't blow up, but a couple rooms did. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't good. But if you look up Orbit Inn, terrorism, Las Vegas, you will find the whole story. Sorry I had to tell you, but anyway, do love the globe, and of course, with the two rings around it, kind of like the Unisphere at the World's Fair, and the rocket. I know. And those two 1960 Plymouths sitting there, the middle of the line with 3 rockets on the fin and the low liner with 1 rocket on the fin. Speaking of all things glorious and wonderful, the Holiday Inn, ladies and gentlemen, started in Memphis, Tennessee in the year of 1952. It is the second most famous thing to ever come out of Memphis. The first most famous thing, of course, is Elvis Presley. But here we are. This is the most iconic roadside neon sign that we ever had in the United States. There were many, many, many of them. I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure if anybody knows. Maybe somebody does, but I do not. But anyway, I will know there was one. I do know there was one in my hometown and probably yours. Ontario, California is my hometown. But anyway, I used to we didn't go there that much, but we used to go there sometime Sunday morning for breakfast. But anyway, I marveled at the sign because it was so beautiful. But you guys, what I really loved about it was that star on top, and I love the backhand script. I know, So, okay, I better calm down. This, don't you love though, on this one of the star rays has collapsed. I know, I mean, it's the only thing you want to look at. I mean, that sign is so incredible, but all we have to see is the collapsed star ray. I know. Anyway, oh, by the way, not one of those Holiday Inn signs is left. Not one of them exists. Gone, gone, gone. Gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. Oh, I'm so about historic preservation. Anyway, this is, of course, not the Holiday Inn, the Madonna Inn. Yes, in San Luis Obispo, California, halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco land. It is the ultimate inn-hotel experience in the United States, in my opinion. Certainly the most colorful, certainly the most over the top, certainly the most outrageous. The place is wild, but it is not Wild West, as that stagecoach and those two horses would indicate. It is basically a fantasy land, phantasmagorical, kind of just a fever dream of glory and glee and color and spirit and soul and style. It's like, this is one of the room wings, you guys, there. By the way, did I say started in 1958? It's kind of like this particular suite of rooms is like a wedding cake and a storybook house had a baby with a carousel, isn't it? I know. Anyway, it is absolutely beyond realm of all imagination. And when you're there, you cannot believe it. This is the Gold Rush dining room. It has to be the greatest, most colorful, most spectacular, most over the top, most glamorous dining room in the entire known universe. How would you like to be encased, engulfed, encapsulated in a big, shocking pink booth, which is trimmed in gold metallic? This entire room is gold and shocking pink. It has rock columns. It is like Zsa Zsa Gabor had a baby with Fred Flintstone. I know. I mean, a little more Zsa Zsa than Fred, but nevertheless, they would get along well here together, because Fred would love the Zsa Zsa-ness of it, and Zsa Zsa would love the Fredness of it, wouldn't they? I know. But anyway, and the rooms are all themed, each individually. Yes. Oh, I forgot to point out there was pink flocked wallpaper in the dining room, and of course the same flocked wallpaper ordered in green for the Irish Hill Suite, which I was staying in. And little did I know, when I walked in the room, I would get a surprise roommate. I had no idea. I had thought maybe I had discovered the Thing. Yes, the Thing is an iconic roadside attraction on the southern route going from El Paso to Tucson, Arizona. That's where you will discover really one of the most iconic, enduring, and legendary roadside attractions in the United States. Yeah, the Thing. Of course, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the Thing is in that case. And it is not a live dead body. I mean, a dead body like the other place. No, it's not. But that's actually what, anyway, we don't need to go back and talk about Mr. Dinsmore at the Garden of Eden in Lucas, Kansas, because we're talking about the Thing in Dragoon, Arizona. Speaking of the Thing, this is not the Thing. This is Sleepy the Bear. This is the icon, the mascot, I should say, of the Travelodge chain. The Travelodge chain opens in San Diego, the first one in December of 1940, and Sleepy Bear was illustrated for the first time in the year of 1954. By the way, it was one of the first motel chains in the United States, and he is supposed to be Sleepy the Bear sleepwalking here. He's got his sleeping shirt on, and he's got his sleeping cap on. I love the red dingle ball there. I love everything about his sleepy eyes, because he's sleepwalking. Kind of reminds me of this version of Big Boy, Frisch's. This was taken in Lexington, Kentucky. Yes, Lexington, Kentucky, where apparently they do not put the red relish on their Big Boy as we do here in California, the Big Boy triple burger. They put, I actually think it's tartar sauce, you guys, not ranch dressing, but I could be wrong about that. But I do know Big Boy, the original, began in Glendale, California in 1934, and Big Boy is an icon, of course, of the absolute highest order. And anyway, here is another one, very similar, except the one we just saw had a plaid outfit on. I mean, a checked outfit. Sorry, not plaid, check. Never confuse checks with plaids and plaids with checks. But anyway, stripes, plaids, checks, we love it all. Polka dots too. The world doesn't have enough of any of it. The world needs more of all of it. But anyway, this is inside the American Sign Museum in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I don't know about you guys, but the American Sign Museum is one of my favorite places. It is absolutely a must-see, go-to extravaganza. Here you see a little bit of it. But what I love about it more than anything, well, besides everything, and I love every piece in there, is this is the Earl Scheib globe. And I remember these as a child. Earl Scheib was a car painter, an auto painter here in Southern California. And there would be a commercial on TV and that we would say, Earl Scheib will paint any car for $39.95. Anyway, and I'm sure they were terrible paint jobs, but whatever. Earl Scheib made a fortune, and on top of his sign out front of all of his stores, all of his paint shops, he had this globe and these cars that went around. Not one of them still stands. Actually, I think there is one in Beverly Hills that weirdly they saved and they bulldozed it, but I'm gonna go look. I'll let you know. Anyway, Howard Johnson's behind there. Howard Johnson's, of course, an iconic name in the roadside realm of vocabulary when talking about it all. And this is also, as you, well, we are still at the American Sign Museum there. Anyway, we could go on and on. I'd love to do a show at the American Sign Museum in Cincinnati. I think I'm going to call him. But anyway, here is a vintage slide of Howard Johnson's, the heyday of which was 1965. It was a roadside chain of restaurants that in 1965, the sales topped McDonald's, Burger King, and Kentucky Fried Chicken combined. Started in 1925 when Howard Johnson opened a drugstore in Quincy, Massachusetts. After discovering that his soda fountain was the most popular part of the store, he decided to focus on ice cream only. And the ice cream, it evolved into these roadside restaurants, 28 flavors. I had to show you one of the red roof restaurants with the weather vane on top and the chimney and everything. I mean, these were icons. Sadly, the last Howard Johnson's restaurant, which was in Lake George, New York, closed 2 years ago. So there is no more Howard Johnson's restaurant. There are still Howard Johnson's hotels, which, by the way, there is one in Anaheim, which is like the best place to stay in Anaheim. If you're not staying at the Disneyland Resort on property there, right across the street from Disneyland is Howard Johnson's Anaheim, and it is mid-century. It's amazing. It is immaculate, and I can't recommend it enough. So speaking of the food at Howard Johnson's back in the day, charbroiled steaks, grilled in butter, and charbroiled steaks, grilled in butter Frankforts. Grilled in butter Frankforts. I love Frankfort, not Frankfurter. Frankfort. Do you ever, who says Frankfort? I'm going to say Frankfort from now on, aren't you? Well, let's, why not? Tender sweet fried clams. I frankly do like fried clams, even though they're very rare to find on any menu here in Southern California, except for our only floating restaurant in Southern California, and that would be the Chowder Barge. I know, the Chowder Barge. They have fried clams, they're amazing. And pure rich ice cream. So I just wanted you to see what they served. Don't you love the folded piece of bread with the grilled in butter Frankfort there, branded, a little paper wrapper that's branded Howard Johnson's. Oh, I know, that little pickle relish on top. And the shape of the ice cream scoop, you guys, a cone shape scoop with a little extra. Oh, where do we begin to behold the glory? Speaking of fried clams, this is my friend Maud Betty. She is a hero of mine because she's documented so many classic places in the eastern part of the United States. Maud Betty, look her up. And this is a fried clams. This is a okay, I better calm down. Shoe fly pie that I brought her because she lives in Pennsylvania and I had just been here to Dutch Haven since 1946. This is vintage slide, as you can tell, but it still looks virtually exactly like this. It was just about to go out of business last year, but I think some new people bought it, thank goodness, and it is still going. And this is still the best and only place, well, maybe not the only place, but the best place, the most classic place, at least, to find a shoe fly pie. And shoe fly pie is gooey with like kind of a crunchy, crumbly on top and everything. Of course, just sugar and molasses and corn syrup and, butter. That's probably what it is, and some flour and cornstarch. I mean, that's got to be what it is. I'm pretty good at cooking chemistry. And of course, it's delicious. I mean, sweet and yummy and chewy and a time-honored tradition. But anyway, yeah, and today I will tell you that it is still produced from the original recipe. And I love this place because I love that there's a door up there. And I love the fact that you could like open that door and slide down that roof, do a flip around that chain and land right on the top of that little pop out there in the front that says, Ocht, come on in. Inside, you will find, I hope they have not removed these incredible graphics on this wood paneled wall. Please tell me they have not. Shoe fly pies, spearmint sticks mailed anywhere in the USA. And then on right across the middle there, I love all of those cutouts that are hand painted. Shoe fly pies, Dutch cooler. It says welcome. Barbecue, shoe fly pies, Dutch cooler, welcome, Amish soda, spearmint sticks, and Dutch steaks. And then on the bottom, weirdly, it says Papa is on the table and half at already. So apparently they're telling you that Daddy's drunk. Alrighty then, fine, be that way. Well, then maybe you might want to take him to have, he doesn't want shoe fly pie, he wants a pie made by a hoe. Yes, the Thunderbird restaurant right near Zion in Utah. This operation, the Thunderbird restaurant, has been going since 1931. However, I hereby declare that this big neon Thunderbird out front had to have come, obviously not in 1931. It is much later, but it was styled after the Thunderbird Resort Casino in Las Vegas, built in 1948. So this was probably built in 1950 or 51 or 52, and it is still there, still all aglow, and yes, it still says home of homemade pies. And specialties of the house are strawberry rhubarb, chocolate cream, coconut cream, apple pie with hot buttered rum sauce, and my favorite specialty of the house, thunderberry pie. Yes, thunderberry pie. Fine, you wanted a pecan roll, be that way. This is Stuckey's. This is a very successfully successful? Yeah, that. Chain of roadside stops. This is where you'd get gas and you would go inside and buy various souvenirs and candies and all kinds of things. But the specialty of the house, the star of the show, was the pecan log. Yes, the pecan log roll. Originally made in 1937 by Ethel Stuckey herself. Ethel Stuckey turned her pecan log roll into an iconic roadside attraction. And here it is. I love the graphics. This is a brand that still exists, that was recently resurrected. None of the roadside shops exist anymore, I don't think. I should know. But the Stuckey's brand does, and the pecan log rolls still do. You can get them. The granddaughter resurrected them a few years ago, and they are back. And she called me up, and she said, I need some graphic design, and I don't know what to do, and I need some help. And I need some guidance. Can you please help me, since you know about mid-century Americana stuff? And I said, yes, I will. You do not need to improve on the vintage graphics. Your style guide is intact. It's classic. So she stuck with it. And these are like original 1950s graphics. And aren't they spectacular still to this day? Yeah, since 1937. Oh, I know. You can order them online, you guys, and I highly recommend that you do. I'll never forget a couple Christmases ago, I got a Stuckey's original pecan log roll for Christmas, and it was delicious. It was Christmas. It tasted like Christmas. It tasted like everything. It tasted like Americana. Fine, you want Davidson of Dundee. You want a basket sampler platter of all the specialties of the house there in rural middle Florida on some long road. On the side there, you will see a big sign that says Davidson of Dundee, and you can go there. Homespun and family run since the year of 1968. Indeed it is, and I cannot recommend it enough, you guys. Look at this. This is a souvenir, and I don't know about you, but they make the jellied candies there, they make the chocolates there, they make everything there, including that molded white chocolate alligator, which reminds me of the albino alligators I saw down the road around the corner here at... Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they have albino alligators at Gatorland in Orlando, Florida. Actually, Kissimmee, or as the locals say, Kissimmee, Florida. And this is the grand entrance from the 1960s, still there. And Gatorland is homespun and family run by the same family since the year of 1949. And it is an amazing place. I mean, I didn't know how much I loved alligators until I went there. And anyway, so by the way, next door to Gatorland, you guys, is, we could go on and on and on, the Tupperware Museum, Tupperware headquarters in the United States, right next door to Gatorland in Florida. Yes, I know, it's like a lot. You think you've died and gone to outer space heaven because you walk in the door and you're like, where am I, who am I, and how did I get here at Tupperware headquarters? And what did I do to deserve this? So you go in and you think there's going to be all this stuff, and it's a very small display, but it doesn't matter because it is absolutely, hypnotizing, spellbinding, and mesmerizing in the absolute highest order way. In every way, every day. Oh, fine, you want to talk about plastics. Let's talk about plastics here. We're not quite there yet, but we will be in a second. The plastic conversation will continue. But first, we are at the Spruce Goose. That is the world's largest airplane of its time, built for World War II. It lived in Long Beach for decades, but years ago already, probably 20 years ago, it went to McMinnville, Oregon, and it is a marvel of aviation forever and always. Yeah, the Spruce Goose. It is at the Aviation Museum there in McMinnville, Oregon, and you can barely see how big it is in the picture. The pictures sometimes skew scale. Yeah, pictures skew scale. They do. But you can see the other little airplanes there and the people down there. That doesn't even help you to realize how big this giant airplane is. But they let you go inside the airplane. And so you go in there, and what is the big deal, the big talking point is that inside you will find all these 1940s beach balls, you guys. They were some of the first beach balls ever made, and they were very well preserved because they were encapsulated by Howard Hughes in the wings. Howard Hughes built this plane. Anyway, for the American government. It's a long story. Google it, Spruce Goose. But anyway, he thought when he had to prove that it would fly, that it might crash, and so he didn't want to go down in the plane, so he filled the wings with these blown up balloons, beach balls. How much do you love beach balls? I know. And they're still there, you guys. They're still in there. Some of them, not all of them. But anyway, I know, the beach ball conversation. Speaking of airplanes, oh yes, this is the Constellation. This is my favorite airplane ever in the history of airplanes. There were 900 of them built between 1941 and 1958 in Burbank, California. Yes, indeed, the Constellation. This was the most glamorous way for a passenger to fly on a plane pre-jet age, which came in the year of 1959. This is the Airline History Museum in Kansas City. They have this TWA Constellation on display, and you get to go inside. Also inside the hangar, where it usually parks, you will see this TWA rocket to the moon. Howard Hughes speaking of Howard Hughes, Howard Hughes, Spruce Goose, he built that, and he built these airplanes. Howard Hughes, that's another story altogether. But anyway, when Howard Hughes was sponsoring the TWA rocket to the moon in Disneyland in 1955, he said to Walt Disney, I'll sponsor you a rocket in Tomorrowland, in Disneyland, but you got to paint TWA on it. He said, we will, Walt Disney said. And he said, and then Howard Hughes said, you got to build me a rocket too, if I'm going to pay for it. So he did. He built one, and here it is. And there's a long story that goes along with it. It actually lived in a mobile home manufacturing facility in rural Kansas City for decades after it left the TWA headquarter building, which is where it was originally installed in 1955. And I will tell you that it now lives at the Airline History Museum, and you can go see it. And they put a replica on top of the old TWA headquarters, Trans World Airlines. Yes, back in the mid-century era, up until, when did TWA go away? The late 1990s, maybe? The trans community had their own airline. Can you believe it? I know. Anyway, so, there's a replica on top there in Kansas City right now. You can see this very scene. It is still there. Speaking of this very scene, this is my favorite giant scale sculpture on the planet. This is the Unisphere. On the site of the 1964 and 32 World's Fair. This, of course, was the icon, the centerpiece, and the crowning touch of the 1964 World's Fair in New York City, in Queens. And yes, it is still there. You can go and see it, stand in the bask in the glory and the glow of it all. And it's way bigger. It's 14 stories tall than you can see here. But anyway, it's wonderful. And inside the New York Pavilion, which still stands, actually the 39 Pavilion, which they preserved for the World's Fair of 64. And is inside that is a 1964 attraction, which is this, the world's largest model of a city. This is New York City in perfect scale. Yes, as I said, built in 1964. Well, completed for the fair in 1964 and still there, still on display. You can get an idea there in the distance. There's people standing there above that staircase to give you an idea of the scale. Actually, you can no longer even comprehend the scale. I mean, you can't comprehend the scale of it in this picture, but when you're there, you walk all the way around it, and it is absolutely a must-see, must-do, must-experience attraction in New York City. If you love vintage attractions, which I know you do, because otherwise, why would you be watching this show? I think I need a drink of water to have a toast to this. In loving memory of Roadside America, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, roadside attraction ever in the history of roadside attractions. Gone now. But this was in rural Pennsylvania. It was built by, to give you an idea of the scale, this is it. This is the scale. And this is the guy that built it, Lawrence Gehringer. And he built this giant miniature model between the years of 1935 and the year of 1963 when he died. And basically, he started building models as a little child, like when he was 5 years old. And his parents are like, whoa, dude, you're 5 years old and you built a perfect little miniature. Okay, that's it. We know you are a child genius and we are going to dedicate our lives to your building models. And that's exactly what they did. And so he built models. He built this miniature village. And yeah, he started in 35 and continued to build until 1963. And it was open until like 3 years ago. And I guess the pandemic killed it. And then the granddaughter said we can never open again, and all was auctioned off. So if anywhere you ever see a piece that says it was part of a model that was part of the Roadside America, this is what it looked like. Also in Pennsylvania, of course, is this giant, this is like the parking garage office where the parking attendant stands in front of the Andy Warhol Museum. And so, I know, we all love Andy Warhol, of course, and of course the Andy Warhol Museum is another great museum besides the Heinz History Museum. Okay, I better calm down. Heinz History Center Museum there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But you guys, how unexpected, how random, how brilliant of them to paint up the little parking lot like a Brillo box, a box of Brillo pads. I mean, Brillo, who would have ever thought that product would be immortalized, that brand, that art, that graphic would be immortalized by Andy Warhol. Here is a box now on the wall in a quirky small museum. This is not the Andy Warhol Museum. This is in Pocatello, Idaho, you guys. This is the Museum of Clean. Yes, indeed. I love Shine-O-Matic. Anything that's O-matic. I know, we love that. Yes, so you guys, yes, this is the Museum of Clean. So this guy in Idaho made a fortune with his cleaning service, and he decided to open a museum. It's so bizarre. It's full of cleaning products and cleaning things, and this is him on the wall. Varsity House Cleaning, Don Aslett. Apparently, he truly did live the American dream, and his dream was then to have a museum. Don't you love those carpet cleaners? I know, those carpet cleaning machines. Oh, you like appliances and stuff too. Yeah, that leads me to how much do we love small, quirky museums. This is actually a giant museum in Greeley, Colorado. This is Rambler Ranch, and there are a million Ramblers there. You can go there. And I'm not going to show you the Ramblers right now, but I'm going to show you the Kelvinator appliances, because Rambler was Rambler was a company. Rambler made appliances as well, just like General Motors made Frigidaire appliances. Anyway, these are Kelvinator appliances, and in the middle there, oh, that's actually a Philco refrigerator with the door handle that goes both ways. Yeah, I know. Yeah, even some refrigerators, go both ways. Anyway, speaking of odd, quirky museums, always search for them, Google them. Everywhere you go, small museums. Some of my favorite treasures are found. This is the washing machine museum. Oh no, this is in Greeley, Colorado. The Rambler Ranch that you just saw is in Elizabeth, Colorado. But there are small, quirky museums everywhere. The washing machine museum And there were a million, you guys, you wouldn't believe, a giant warehouse full of vintage antique washing machines of every shape and size in every bizarre iteration. And of course, I loved every minute of being there, but this was to me the pièce de résistance, 1953 by Westinghouse, the clothes dryer, and what is the laundromat, it says on it, and clothes dryer. You guys, look at the style of these. They look like giant jukeboxes, and the porthole windows, the leaning and everything. Front load on both of them. I mean, oh no, my light just went out. Okay, I'm gonna fix it. Do not despair. I will need the light. It's getting a little dark. Okay, sorry. Okay, we're back. Hi, how have you been? Everything okay? Yeah, it is saved. Anyway, how's everybody? You doing okay so far? Anyway, so what I was gonna say is, okay, this dryer, this is actually a real thing. When the dryer went through its cycle and it was finished, it played on a little music box, How Dry Am I? Which is a song that I don't actually know, but I think I should know, and I'll report back to you later. Speaking of portholes, this is the porthole window on the all-new, for 1956, show car of the future, one-of-a-kind Packard Predictor. So I actually did some detective work. This is an old slide that I found from a car show in 1956 in my collection, and I found the Packard Predictor. And here it is. It actually survived. Unlike most 1950s dream cars of the future, show cars, they did not survive. This one did. It is at the Studebaker Museum in South Bend, Indiana. This is, there it says Studebaker. And the reason why it's at the Studebaker Museum is because Packard merged with Studebaker in 1956. And anyway, so there's a big Studebaker Museum, and this is there. Currently, right now, you can get in your car, on an airplane, on a boat, on a plane, well, not on a boat, but on a plane, and you can go to South Bend, Indiana, and experience this Packard Predictor up close, in person. Don't you love that very pronounced up and down grille, kind of Edsel-esque? A very refined hideaway headlights, those flaring front fenders, that big windshield, and of course, timbre doors. There's T-tops, only they're timbres, you guys. They slide in, and that wraparound grille goes all the way back there. I just love this car. It's one of my favorite cars of all time. Top 3. Oh, that's 4. 3. Anyway, I know. And the fin, of course, I mean, you can't see, but if you leaned over to the right a little bit, you can actually see through the fin. Dual rear antennas, that wraparound rear window, that bumper end, that exhaust. Oh, it's all just too much. I know. An icon of Americana, the Packard Predictor, one of the great cars of the future, and one of the absolute epitomes. This car epitomizes the optimism of the era, because this car has fins, this car has flair, and this car is taking you more than just on the road. This is taking you to the outer limits of beyond the universe, into the imagination of the space age, and more galore. And you could probably feel very comfortable, just like Elvis, pulling it up here in front of Sun Records. Yes, Sun Records in Memphis, Tennessee. This is the birthplace of rock and roll. This is a living museum. It is perfectly encapsulated. I cannot recommend it enough. And this, of course, is an icon of Americana in every way, every day. This is where Elvis recorded Jailhouse Rock and several other of his iconic hits. And this is also where Jerry Lee Lewis recorded, and this is where Johnny Cash recorded early stuff. This is where Chuck Berry recorded, and Roy Orbison, and there were more. But you guys, what's so incredible about this place is they actually let you touch and feel and sing into what they are claiming to be, and it probably is. I mean, let's just give them the credit for telling the truth. The actual microphone that Elvis and the others did sing into when recording their iconic hits. Speaking of Elvis Presley, this is the one and only slide I'm going to show you of Graceland, you guys. Of course, Graceland, when in Memphis or when anywhere in the South, is an absolute must. I heard about Graceland for years. Elvis's house. I love Elvis and everything to do with Elvis and all that. And of course, I always wanted to go to Graceland, and everybody always said, oh, it's not that big, he had tacky taste and all that. No. Timeless classic in every way, every day, and the house is huge. But I will say, you guys, I disagree, of course, with everyone who said Elvis had bad taste. Elvis had my taste. I love Elvis's taste. I'm not going to show it to you. You've just got to go there and trust me. Like the jungle room, the media room, the living room. I mean, you guys, it is all absolutely to die for. But what they never tell you, what they don't even point out on the tour is the poodle wallpaper on the first floor bathroom. Clearly that has been on the wall since Elvis moved to the house in 1957. They don't even talk to you about it. Okay, you guys, but I'm going to show it to you because you must know, you must see the poodle wallpaper on Elvis's ground floor bathroom wall. If you like clowns, you like poodles. I mean, if you like poodles, you must like clowns. So I was touring around Wisconsin, and I have to say I was absolutely, well, spellbound by what I wasn't expecting to be spellbound by, the Circus World Museum. I mean, I didn't know I was that into circuses or whatever until I went to the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, Wisconsin, which, by the way, was the summer home of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus for a very long time. That is the town where the Ringling Brothers were actually from. Baraboo, Wisconsin. So if you go there, I cannot recommend enough. You have to go to the Circus World. So Circus World is many things. One of their great collections are these incredible incredible circus posters, these promotional posters from probably 1880s, 1890s, well, maybe 1890s, all the way through probably the 50s, maybe even the 60s, but the art on them was incredible. There were so many, and I was really blown away. I mean, they are the real posters. And the quality of the printing, the quality of the paper, the quality of the inks, I love paper stuff. I love vintage paper. They're beautiful. They're rich. They're kind of glowing. They kind of sear in your eyes. I mean, they're that spectacular. They're that deep. I mean, you can feel them. Anyway, just with your soul, with your spirit. But I had to show you this one because the clowns, of course. Isn't it rich? Are we a pair sending the clowns? Anyway, yeah, sorry, I sing once in a while. But anyway, well, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But they also had these dioramas, you guys. And these dioramas of circus, the world of circuses and stuff, were so on point and so beautifully detailed. I quite found them breathtaking. I really did. And absolute masterpieces, each and every one of them. They also had a massively shocking collection of circus, what do they call them? Circus, why am I blanking on the word? Circus wagons. They were all the fanciful ones that would go take all the circus stuff from town to town back in the day. This was the only mid-century one they had. And so all the fanciful ones you'll have to go there and see, including the Oregon one, and they blasted us out of the place playing the pipe organ on the Oregon car, but Oregon wagon. But anyway, this one, I just fell in love with the simplicity of it, the color of it, the curves of it, and of course, the Paul Klee-esque clown there in all of its divine simplicity. I love the color theory of the collar, don't you? I know. And of course, it says on the side there, where can you find one form of amusement that suits Granddad, Ma, Pa, and the kids, except for the circus? Jimmy Durante said that. I thought you might want to know what it said on the side. I did. Speaking of, I also love Native American trading posts, wherever they are, the older the better. And I'm pretty much thinking this one, Pearson's trading post in Wisconsin Dells, has got to be the oldest. Homespun and family run. I mean, it is a complete treasure trove of Native Americana, you guys, and I love it all. And it was quite a deep soul experience, as is all the experiences that we are seeking on these road trips, time-honored attractions, and, more galore, of course. I love beaded stuff like this so much. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I had a beaded belt. It wasn't authentic or whatever, but anyway, I loved it. Probably got it at Disneyland. But these are, I don't know I can't verify authenticity here in any way, but I can verify the fact that this is all music to my eyes and sure yours too. Native American beaded things. So basically belts and moccasins, etc. And here it says in my notes, early beadwalk, why am I even reading from my notes? I mean, I don't even need to be. I just need to tell you that Of course, Native Americans first got their glass beads from European settlers that came over bearing beads and doing trades for these glass beads. And whoa, what happened? Native Americans went crazy with them and made the most amazing artifacts that each and every one of them now are pure gold, each one an absolute treasure of the absolute highest order. Where do we begin to behold the glory? I know, I love it all. In Wisconsin also, they have supper clubs. You cannot go to Wisconsin without going to a supper club. This is the Hobnob Supper Club since 1954. It is truly a time capsule. I hope that it still is. I'm pretty sure it still is. I haven't been there for a few years, but I love the way it says food and cocktails way over there. And this is the inside. And purple flocked wallpaper. I believe that's the exact pattern from the Madonna Inn, and those big booths and that giant biscuit and button pattern wrapping around in that kind of vanilla ice cream color, French vanilla. Purple wallpaper, flocked, and just, it's that 80s print on the wall sconces. The simplicity of it all, the perfection of it all, the symmetry of it all, that gold lampshade in the corner. As a crowning touch, as the cherry on top, where do we begin to behold the glory? Also, I love anywhere where you go where they have a portrait of the original owner. And here she is. This woman is, you can tell, she is a power woman. She's got her power hairdo, she's got her power bow and her power glasses, posing in her power pose, isn't she? In purple. Clearly her favorite color. I don't know her name. I couldn't find it on the internet. But whoever you are, lady, you are awesome, and we owe you a debt of purple gratitude. Yes, we need to bring back more purple. The world needs more purple. Speaking of Racine, Wisconsin, this is the Johnson Wax Pavilion in Racine, as I just said. And of course, this is an icon of early modernity, and of course, one of Frank Lloyd Wright's many spectacular works. There are Frank Lloyd Wright buildings all over the United States. Everywhere I go, I always Google Frank Lloyd Wright, and generally something comes up, and if it does, and if it's on tour, I want to go there. You can tour this building. I'm not going to show you the inside of it, but I can tell you, like no other place you've ever been, go ahead, Google it. Go ahead, don't Google it. Just go there, and trust me, Johnson Wax. Oh, wait, Johnson & Johnson. Wait, Johnson & Johnson, not Johnson Wax. Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, Johnson & Johnson. That's what it is. Two different things. 1939 it was built. This is Frank Lloyd Wright's only skyscraper, built in 1956 in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. This is quite a story. I went to Tulsa, and I had bought my ticket online, and I'm usually not late. I have on-time-itis. I'm always on time. But I was actually late for the tour by about 10 minutes. I got there. I ran into the lobby, and the woman was starting the tour. Well, she'd started or whatever. And there was 15 people. And, I walk in ran in huffing and puffing and everything. And she's like, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Hi, I'm Charles Phoenix. I'm sorry I'm late for the tour, but I'm here. I'm sorry. You won't be able to join the tour. You're late." And I'm like, but I'm here in front of all these people. I'm kind of embarrassed. And she's like, "I'm sorry. You won't be able to join the tour." I'm like, well, okay, I'm sorry. So she said to her group, "Right this way, please." She opened the door, they walked through it. And I thought, fine, if she won't give me the tour, I'll give me my own tour. So I'm not leaving, I've come all this way. So I pushed the button to go up, and it went all the way up to the top floor. And I opened the door to the elevator. Of course, I don't know where they were. They were still down on the bottom floor for all I know. And I opened the door to an office. And I went out on the terrace up there, and the door locked behind me, and I got stuck. So as soon as I realized that, I'm like, they'll finally make it up here. They didn't. I don't know why. Maybe this was off limits. I'm not sure. But I actually had to wait for her to walk out to the parking lot to go, "Excuse me, hey, I'm stuck up here." She turned around, and she was furious. Anyway, long story short, that was. But anyway, it was fun. And of course, it's always important to make memories and to push the limits of your welcome. I know. Anyway, but this is the Yogi Bear in Jellystone Park Camp outside of a Frank Lloyd Wright attraction, Falling Water. This is where you will find Jellystone in rural Pennsylvania. Anyway, so I was with my friend. I said, "What? Yogi Bear, huh? Pull over the car." And then, by the way, "Hey, Yogi, where's Boo Boo?" I know, I couldn't resist, of course. How much do we all love Yogi Bear? Introduced to the world by Hanna-Barbera in the year of 1958. Yeah, 1958. Love you, Yogi. Love you, Boo Boo. Anyway, this is what we were on our way to see. This is Falling Water, one of Frank Lloyd Wright's most famous residential attractions, built in 1935. It was for the Kaufman family. The Kaufman family owned the biggest department store in Pittsburgh at the time, Kaufman's Department Store. Also, you will know the Kaufman name from the Kaufman House in Palm Springs by Richard Neutra, which was built 11 years later. And both of these homes remain in impeccable, perfect condition. And this house here, Falling Water, is where the Kaufman family resorted, in part, until the year of 1963. I believe it became a tourist attraction in 1964. So, by the way, when you're done with all that and you're heading on back into Philadelphia, you're going to be pretty hungry. More local food. I always go for the local foods, as I say. Yes, 1966 is Geno's Philly Steaks. And, of course, when in Rome, as I say, I always try the local foods. And, it was interesting. When I got to this place, it was late at night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think they probably closed at 2, maybe 3. I don't know. But it was kind of in deep Philadelphia. And there were a lot of people around, and I remember thinking it was, kind of a little roughy-toughy, whatever, but please, fine. I love it. And so I said, please, not please, but please, it was fine. So there's all these people everywhere, and I remember thinking to myself, this is like the theater of street. I mean, there was all these characters and everything, and all speaking loudly in Philadelphian accents. And I just remember feeling the energy of it all. There was such an intense energy. And it was just, sorry, I'm sorry. I think I better take a drink of water. Yeah, intense energy. So of course I had to try a Philly cheesesteak and the star of the show. And I love how it's wrapped and branded like waxy paper, telling you, in business since 1930. Oh, wait, this is Pat's. I ended up going to Pat's, not Geno's. So there's two competing across the street from each other. I love it when that happens. So I guess I took the picture of Geno's and went across the street to Pat's. So Pat's is older. So that's why I went there. But anyway, I know I love a friendly competition, don't you? So what I was going to say was, though, you guys, wait, let me get comfortable here. Sorry. Okay, are we back? We're back. A soft white bread roll, kind of baked to a golden brown on the outside, highly flavorized, probably tenderized, thinly sliced beef grilled on a grill with grilled onions and smothered kind of ish with Cheese Whiz. Is there anything better? No, of course. I mean, I devoured that thing. I had to remember, no, take a picture. I couldn't wait. I had to take a bite. And I chowed down on that thing. It was so delicious and so salty and gooey and fatty and flavorful and chewy and gooey. Yeah, chewy and gooey. That's what it is. It's chewy and gooey. Again, as I said before, I do not eat Cheese Whiz except when in a situation like this because I fear addiction. Because I said it. It's the most delicious thing ever. No wonder Cheese Whiz, people want Cheese Whiz on everything. I know. Speaking of, on a slightly more refined level, Schwabbles in upstate New York near Buffalo. I was taken here to one of the oldest eating establishments in the United States, Schwabbles roast beef, serving since the year, it says it right there, of 1837, you guys, 1837. The specialty of the house is beef on weck. Yes, beef on weck with horseradish. I love horseradish, especially with beef. Or do you say boeuf? Are you French? Don't French people say boeuf? They should. We should say boeuf. I'm going to start saying boeuf from now on. Beef is so boring. I kind of like the word. But anyway, beef on weck. That's what this is. Short for Kummelweck, a Kaiser roll with pretzel salt and a smattering of caraway seeds baked on top. Soft and chewy on the inside, firm on the outside, served with pickled beets, a pickle, Don't you love a pickle on pickled beets? I know. I don't think I've ever seen a pickle on pickled beets before. And like German potato salad that was kind of mushy, runny, but it was delicious. Of course, the whole thing was delicious. And oh, that salty pretzel bun with those essence of caraway seeds. Whoa! It was absolutely utter divine deliciousness. I want to go back to Sanders Cafe and to Schwabel's. I want to go see all these places all again because they're all so wonderful. I love Sanders Cafe. This is the original in Corbin, Kentucky, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. The Colonel is a hero of mine. There he is on the wall. There are a million, well, not a million, but a lot of collectibles, KFC collectibles. And of course, you know what, you guys, there at the museum, they also have a fried chicken place. I mean, you can buy Kentucky Fried Chicken there too, of course. It's a Kentucky Fried Chicken with a museum in the original KFC, original place where it all started. How many herbs and spices? 17 herbs and spices, isn't that what it is? Anyway, so, but you guys, what I want to say about Colonel Sanders, besides that he's one of my ultimate heroes ever of all time, absolutely, without a question, pure and total love, nothing but, for Colonel Harlan Sanders, who became famous after he was 60 years old. I mean, he achieved fame at a late age. I mean, I just love him. The suit, the tie, the hairdo, the demeanor, the glasses, the goatee, the moustache, and of course, oh, and he's got the cane and a bucket of fried chicken in his hand. But what I was going to say is his likeness is no one's likeness is more famous than his of a person who was born before 1900. I mean, the only people that would come close are the people that do come close: Jesus Christ, George Washington, and Abraham Lincoln. I mean, who else is there whose likeness is more famous for, you know what I'm trying to say, of people born before 1900? Local foods. Kentucky Fried Chicken is the ultimate local food that went widespread. Kentucky Fried Chicken, yeah, that is a local food that exploded in the world more than any other local food ever. The other one most famous is the Denver omelet, where, of course, I had one in Denver. I really don't order Denver omelets except when in Denver. So I don't even know if it was invented in Denver, but let's just say it was. And yes, it's not as easy as you think to spell the word Denver out in ketchup from a squeeze bottle. I guess we might as well get it out in the open. And yes, I've been trying to cut down since the second grade, so that's why sliced tomatoes instead of hash browns. Local food, alert. Yes, at Shrimp's Candy, Confectionery, and Lunch Counter since 1891 in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Yeah, Shrimp's. Shrimp's. That's how you say it. That's the name of it. Is their local favorite flavor of sandwich is this sandwich. It is called the Saint Benedictine. And I absolutely, of course it was delicious. It's pulverized celery and cream cheese with green food coloring on white bread on a moldy plate. I mean, how could something so wrong be so right and something so right be so wrong? I know. Where do we begin? Margie's Candies is an icon in Chicago since 1933. I believe they have been on this site in Chicago since 1933, maybe even earlier, I think since the 20s. But I think they were branded Margie's Candies in 1920s. But the brand, the company actually goes back before that. But don't you love that sign, that yellow wraparound? I mean, it's like yellow band wieners. It is from Chicago, just like Margie's Candies is from Chicago. This is Chicago. So are the yellow brand Oscar Mayer wieners. They copied each other. Who came first? Margie's Candy wraparound brand sign with yellow and red, or the Oscar Mayer. Okay, we're not going to get hung up on that right now. But we are going to get hung up on the fact that we love that loop around the M on Margie's. Don't you love it? And then that C, that swirl on the C, a little more than you usually get. Absolutely. And the E, the G, the I, the apostrophe, that S, that A, that R, the D, the N, all of it. This is a masterpiece of graphic signage, neon, vintage, and a treasure to behold forever and beyond eternity. Here it is. I'm sorry it's a little dark in there, but they serve you. I think I had, one time I went there, I had a banana split. By the way, you guys, banana splits are back. In case you didn't know, Banana splits are back. Order a banana split, do the right thing, live a little. So yeah, I love the plastic clamshells. I think this is like the banana one with hot chocolate sauce, which I'm pouring on there, which you can barely see, but whatever. It's all about the bowl. And of course the ice cream. Oh, you want ice cream in Chicago? You might want to go to the Rainbow Cone Company, same family since the year of 1928. And this is where great-grandpa, still family owned, I do believe. I could be wrong, I hope so. But anyway, I went to the Rainbow Cone Company. Look at the background, look at the building. It's pink, Pepto-Bismol pink. And that is, I love the border on the door too, you guys, and like ice cream colors. Oh. I mean, some things are just so right, aren't they? And this is one of them. Anyway, speaking of so right, 5 flavors on one cone. That's why they call it. It's chocolate, strawberry, Palmer House, that's vanilla with maraschino cherry bits and walnuts, I believe. And that is a pistachio and orange sherbet. All on one cone, you guys. It doesn't get any better. And I'm usually a purist. I don't want to mix my flavors, but I will make an exception. I will tell you, the blend of that flavor profile was absolutely out of this artificial flavored world of ours. Let me tell you, you gotta try. You have not had an ice cream cone until you've had a Rainbow Cone Company cone. Speaking of frozen custard, frozen desserts, frozen things, frozen dairy products, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Leon's Frozen Custard is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I believe, since 1946 or 1948. Sorry, don't know right now, but it's one of those. It doesn't matter exactly. But it is the most beautiful, like frozen food, frozen dessert stand on the planet. Look at it. Look at that fan of lights, of fluorescent lighting. Have you ever? And the fact that the band on the front of it, the fascia board, is trimmed in neon and it's speaking to us. It says hot dogs. It says Sundays. Yeah. It says quarts, pints, cones, malts, shakes. And look at that. I ordered wait, where's the banana? That is a banana split. I don't see the banana. Must have, no, maybe it's buried underneath. Anyway, but you know, what I love about a banana split it with a friend. It's a moment to have, it's bonding, you bond. Yeah, 2 spoons. Anyway, I love how one of the maraschino cherries like passed out. Oh, there it is, down on the lower right. Or is that the spoon? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we're missing a maraschino cherry up top. I know it was there. I distinctly recall 3 maraschino cherries. But we're not talking about Leon's anymore. We're talking about the other rival greatest frozen custard stand in the world. This would be Ted Drew's. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this since 1921 on Route 66. Get your kicks. Yes, in St. Louis, Missouri. So every time that I go to St. Louis, of course, there's no such thing as doing St. Louis without going to Ted Drew's either before or after you go to the St. Louis donut shop there. Yes, it is. Oh, I love it. I love anywhere that you go that has a kind of a primitive style painting of the actual place, like a primitive style portrait of the business that you're in. I love a place like this that's actually also serves as an art gallery of portraits of its own self. So this little donut stand does. And of course, you see in the background is, of course, the legendary St. Louis Arch, built in the year, actually completed in the year of 1967. It is a mid-century modern masterpiece of the absolute highest order. You ride up in it. You ride up it. It's like an attraction, like a ride. They should build one at Disneyland. I can't believe they haven't. But anyway, you ride up this, like, you get in like what is the equivalent of a front-loading dryer, only with a slightly bigger drum, and 5 of you sit in there. It's so bizarre. And it's very claustrophobic, and you go up all the way up to the top, and then you get off up there and you walk across and you have these little viewing windows and you look out over the entire city of St. Louis, both sides, across the river and everything. It's absolutely spellbinding, hypnotizing, mesmerizing. And then you get back into this tiny little thing and you go back down the other side. Oh, Unbelievable. Anyway, it is an experiential extravaganza that you must experience if you have not already. I'll go back. I'll do it again. I don't care how scared. I don't care how claustrophobic. I'm going back. As I'm going back here, Harold Warp's Pioneer Village, the name is deceiving, Minden, Nebraska. This is my favorite roadside attraction that does still exist intact. It is a time warp of its own self. I'm going to explain in a minute. This was it when I was there just a couple of years ago. I have been there 3 times. This is what it looked like in 1952. Actually, this is a little later, but it opened originally in 1952. It is a collection of collections. And as you can see, there's a main building there, which we just saw, still standing. Actually, they made it twice as big, probably just a few years after this was taken. And it is a treasure trove extravaganza of the absolute highest order of all things that you can possibly imagine. It is a story of man's progress in the United States. It really isn't pioneerish, but I mean, there's a little of that, but it's all things like products and things displayed in large part in chronological order. And then there's a collection of buildings, and that's how it all started. It is a collection of buildings from the town that Harold Warp grew up in. This is Harold Warp. He wrote a book called Over the Hill and Past My Front Door. He was a very conscientious child and a very smart man. And anyway, he noticed the evolution of things happening in his childhood, and he wanted to preserve them once he became wealthy from inventing basically the early version of plastic. And the early version of plastic that he invented was called, oh shoot, now I forgot what it was called. Flex glass, I think. And it was, he invented it to keep the cold out of chicken coops. And he made a fortune. He was manufacturing in Chicago, and then he went back to his hometown, and they were starting to tear down some of his childhood favorite buildings in the town. And he said, no. I'm going to buy all these buildings you're about to bulldoze and create a little village. And so he did, and he arranged them around in a circle and then started collecting other things. And it is there to this day from the 50s till now, and is really hasn't been touched, it doesn't seem, in 50 years. So this is an incredible time-honored attraction, a time capsule, as I said, of its own self. Pictures do not do it justice. It is so homespun, so special, and there's some sort of magic there because it should be dusty, but it's not. It starts with all these carriages. I mean, we could go on and on and on. There are so many things on display, something for everybody. Look at that airplane. They've got airplanes. They've got, I mean, the list of what they have there. Pioneer Village, Harold Warp's Pioneer Village. There's an amphicar down there. They've got so much stuff. They have collections of collections. Look at this room. This is just the salt and pepper shaker room. Just the room itself is unbelievable. But these salt and pepper shakers, I mean, okay, you guys, I know you're like me. You love things with faces on them that shouldn't have faces on them. Like all these salt and pepper shakers. I mean, it's just, look at the wedding ring there, salt and pepper shaker. I know. And, I just had to show you these because, I know, I mean, it's just, this is the general store, and it's really, they really haven't touched it for decades. So it is a time capsule. And it's just a spectacular, amazing art installation, a product installation. And it's really not to be missed. And who knows how much longer it's going to be there. Harold Warp's son, I believe, is still alive. He's probably in his late 80s. The first time I ever went there was the day after Harold Warp himself died, and that was in 1992 or 91, I believe. They have all kinds of things, all these televisions. They've got waffle irons, everything, every electrical appliance, all kinds of everything. They've got diorama displays. You walk through time, like the Carousel of Progress at Disneyland or Disney World. This is like the 1940s kitchen. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. They've got cars. They've got warehouses, these like weird, unbelievable, like gorgeous, like metallic silver domed arched Quonset huts full of cars. And the Kaiser there, that turquoise one, there it is. And this one is extra special in the collection because this was the car that started the collection. Harold Warp's sister and brother-in-law were responsible for all the acquisitions in the museum back in the 50s. And they're the ones that went around and made arrangements for all the acquisitions and collected things from all over the Midwest and created this museum with Harold Warp. This is the car they drove. This is the actual car. It is there. And I mean, this place is so deep. I mean, words cannot express, pictures cannot express. You just have to go there and bask in the glory of it all. Now, for the Le Grand finale, we touched on Route 66, but we're going to go there. America's Mother Road from Chicago to Santa Monica, California. Yes, America's Mother Road started in 1926. I forgot what year it was actually decommissioned, but many parts of Route 66 are still doable. Many of us have done either all or parts of Route 66. I have not done it all. I have done most of it from California to as far as Tulsa. That's as far as I've gotten. I haven't gotten all the way to Chicago on it. But anyway, this is a vintage slide. As you can see, this woman held on to poles everywhere she went, so I call her Mrs. Polehugger. And yes, we love her. But this is the virtually the beginning of Route 66, Lou Mitchell's in Chicago. And Lou Mitchell's has been there for 101 years. They claim to serve the world's finest coffee with pure cream, indeed. And I don't know if they still do this, but for decades, maybe they still do. All the kids that, when you went there, if you were a little kid, you would get a small little like Halloween box scale box of Milk Duds. Random, right? And then when you leave, when you're done with your whatever you're eating, they give you this little tiny like accordion cup, you know, those little accordion paper cups full of soft serve. Is that random or what? I know. So anyway, yeah, sorry about the umbrellas. Krista was there that day doing an art installation. But anyway, Route 66 continues. This is the blue whale of Catoosa, and it is in Catoosa, Oklahoma. And it was created by a zoologist for his wife and children to have fun on their little pond. And it was there. It's been there since 1972. And look how big it is compared to me there, reaching out and basking in the glory of the glow of it all, of this one-of-a-kind, unique folk art attraction. And anyway, you can still go there right now. For years, people were allowed to swim there. No longer available for swimming the pond, but you can see the blue whale of Catoosa. Speaking of Tulsa, Oklahoma, you guys, the most underrated, unknown space-age campus on the planet, the best space-age campus of buildings, or campus of space-age buildings, I should say, believe it or not, is Oral Roberts University in Tulsa. This is the crowning touch of them all. This is the Prayer Tower, and built in the year of 1966. I mean, you guys, it kind of looks like Frank Lloyd Wright got a hold of the Space Needle, but it is neither the Space Needle nor is it Frank Lloyd Wright. But it is really, really a spectacular structure. And it's just sitting there, very unknown, very unnoticed, very underappreciated. And I highly recommend it. Speaking of underappreciated, but an icon, actually quite appreciated, is this. This is Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. Yes, Amarillo, Texas. So in 1974, a collective of artists in San Francisco said, let's do an art installation. And they got all the Cadillacs with fins from about 1949 to probably about 63 or 4. And they buried them face down in the ground. Here they are. They're still there. And this is one of those places, photos do not do it justice. You cannot take a photo of it. It just does not. The feeling that you get there is like it's magical, it's mystical and powerful. It's way out in this field. You walk way out there, and you know it didn't start out this way, but over the years people started spray painting them. And so if you want, bring spray paint, and you too can be a graffiti artist. I think seriously, the spray paint. Oh, I've never said spray paint before. We should never say spray paint again. Spray paint is better. The spray paint has preserved these classic Cadillacs. And also on the way there, the best place to stay, the best motel to stay on Route 66 is this, the Blue Swallow Inn. I believe it's been there since 1939. And this couple resurrected this place, actually saved it from an owner that had been there for decades and it got really old and said, I can't take care of it anymore, I'm selling it. They bought it. They had it for a few years. Now they have sold it. And I haven't been there for a few years, but they are heroes to me. And the place is completely on point. Blue Swallow in Tucumcari, New Mexico. That is where you want to stay on Route 66. One of the places. The other is the El Rancho in New Mexico. I'm not sure it's a day's drive away, but it doesn't matter. Also, you want to eat in Albuquerque at the Doghouse. At night, that doghouse is wagging his tail. You know the doghouse from, of course, Breaking Bad. I personally don't because I did not see that show, but I know many of you did and many of you loved it. Also, we have, what was I going to say about it? Well, anyway, the doghouse. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, to be there is absolutely amazing. And you got to order a foot-long hot dog there. I love, again, a place that has a gallery of paintings of its own self. And the Frontier Restaurant since 1971 on Route 66 in Albuquerque is one of those places. I ordered huevos rancheros there, and it was absolutely delicious. And of course, on the wall is a painting of one of the main dining rooms there, which is covered with Native American carpets. And the place is, one of those homespun family-run places, which is also an installation, an artistic installation of collectibles. And absolutely spectacular because here it is. The Jack Rabbit Trading Post, one of the great icons, made iconic in the Cars Land movie, but it was already iconic. Trading Post since 1949, same family since 1967. Here it is. Here it is. Yes, this is the Big Rabbit. There have been several versions, but this is the one there now. And you too can get on it and have your Instagram-a-rama moment. So this was there. People were having their Instagram moments before there was even Instagram, long before. And of course, speaking of long before Instagram, we had this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, one of the 9 original wigwam motel villages built in the United States. This is the one of 3 left. There's one in Cave Creek, Kentucky. This is Holbrook, Arizona on Route 66. And then, of course, there is the one on Route 66 in Rialto, California. And I have stayed here 2 times, and it is an out-of-body experience, of course. The last time I was there, it was snowing. And no, that is not my car. I did not pull up in that 1951 Ambassador by Nash. But I was very happy to see it there because it is one of my favorite cars of all time, of course. I know, how could you not love a car like that? So I remember when I was there for the first time, I went in they give you a key still. I went in there and I opened the door and to the room. And of course, the wigwam is much larger inside than you think it's going to be. I mean, of course, not huge, but it's just not as cramped. I thought it was going to be super cramped and I was going to have to bend over. No, not at all. Maybe in the shower a little, you have to bend over, but who cares? Oh my God, what am I talking about? Never mind that. No. I'm not talking about anything about bending over in showers, except anyway, the wall. That's what I meant because the wall's right here. So anyway, what I was talking about though is, sorry, I got a little distracted there. What I was talking about was, the furniture. The furniture. So I walk in there and, this is what I walked into. And I'm like, this is like the original furniture from 1952 in here. This like super like rustic, like handmade, homemade furniture or whatever. I mean, probably not totally homemade, but homemade-esque. And I mean, having that Formica top on it kind of gives it away on that little desk table there. And the chair and everything, I immediately went right back in the lobby and I said, excuse me, to the old lady there whose dad had built the place. This was like 20 years ago plus, maybe even 25. I said, don't people try to steal the furniture? And she goes, no, not really. I'm like, really? It's incredible furniture. I can't believe. Well, she said, actually, I did try to, she said I did what am I saying? Okay, calm down. I did catch a couple trying to take a table once, but that was it. I couldn't believe it. Next door, down the street, whatever, is this the Plainsman coffee shop and dining room, cocktails. This shotgun of a sign, absolute icon in Route 66. I don't know what condition it's in, but every time I've been along there, it is still there. I love the portrait of Clint Eastwood like there. I mean, absolutely an American classic. Look at the font on the. I know. It is so like kind of let the sun shine in, psychedelic, kind of like late 60s font. And then the Plainsman and kind of that Circus meets Western font. I love it. And then, of course, if you don't have a rifle to shoot with, how about a bow and arrow? These are the twin arrows, an icon on Route 66 since the late 1940s. I frankly don't think that either one of them are still standing now. I don't think these were the originals anyway. However, I do think that if they are not still standing, I know one was gone, now one might be gone. I tried to figure out if one was put, or if they were put back, they are not. So maybe they're both gone, maybe they're not. Let me know. But anyway, this was about 10 years ago, and if they're not there, they need to be there, even if they are reproductions, because it is a moment to have. It is an iconic American moment to have on the roadside, a tradition, and I love traditions. And here is, speaking of Yabba Dabba Doo, actually, this is not on Route 66. I'm cheating a little, but it is in Arizona, and I will tell you, Flintstone Land, is much more amazing than you would ever dream. I cannot recommend it enough. It is near the Grand Canyon, and I highly... Wait, is it on Route 66? No, it's not on Route 66. I don't think so. But anyway, it is absolutely a not to be missed. It's been there since 1972, and it was 1,000 times better than I ever dreamt, and I can't wait to go back, and I think you all need to go there as well. This is Roy's Cafe. This has a success story. Roy's Cafe started there on Route 66 in Amboy, California in 1938. This sign was added in 1959. So yes, it is of the atomic signage style. It is super scale. It is massive. And about 2 years ago, I hereby do declare that they raised the money and they hired a neon company to get up there and relight that neon. I have not been there to see it, I'm ashamed to say, but I hope you have, and I'm on my way. It's always great in life to have something to look forward to. And we are, you guys, basically at the end of the road. This is the end of Route 66, ladies and gentlemen. This is the beginning of the Santa Monica Pier. So yes, Route 66, America's Mother Road, goes from Chicago all the way through Los Angeles, and the end of the pier is the end of Route 66. If you keep going, you just fall off the end of the pier and you float in the ocean. So you can do that if you want, or instead you can stand there and admire the glory of the spectacular 1930s sign that still stands there to this day. So you guys, I guess you're like me and you love the lore, the lure, the landmark, the iconography, and the depth of tradition of it all, the depth of Americana, the deep soul and spirit that it gives us, that we give it. We must preserve these places for future generations who haven't even been born yet, for this is Americana. There is something interesting around every corner, no matter where you go. The world is a wonderland to discover. And I will tell you, what I really wanted to tell you more than anything, you guys, is what I neglected to say through this entire thing, which I've been meaning to say and haven't. But now that we're at the end, I can tell you, because now is the time. You know what I do? Here's my best advice about traveling. Wherever you go. I mean, really, I only go to the vintage places. So, and these are the places that you must walk in the door and say to whoever's there, first words out of your mouth, in a very polite, poised, proper way, you say, hello, I'm an out-of-towner. I'm an out-of-towner. Those are, uh-oh, there goes my light again. Sorry. I'm an out-of-towner, you guys. I need the light. It's showbiz. Anyway, I'm an out-of-towner. They will roll out the red carpet. They will tell you everything. They will give you the royal tour. Those are the words of power. If you are a vintage, retro road tripper, I'm an out-of-towner. Behold the glory. And thank you all for joining me for Vacationland, USA. I know. It's all too much. And we must behold the glory of it all. We really must. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your support. It means so much to me, to your travels, to our travels, to my travels, to everyone's travels. Travel safe, travel with an open mind, and travel with the glory of it all, with you in your spirit, and give it back and take it in and give it back again. And let's pass it on to future generations who haven't even been born yet. Oh, behold the glory. Okay, you guys, I'll see you later. Okay, bye.